The following podcast contains spoilers for The Lone Ranger, Iron Man 2 and 3, Avengers Age of Ultron, The Amazing Spider Man 2, Deadpool, and Toy Story 3. You're listening to the Jedi HoloCast, fully armed and operational. If you in need of avenging, I'll be your fury. But if your review needs revenge, then no need to worry. I'm gonna take the last of your mutants and rebuild the nation. If you about to die for the third time, this some regeneration. But if you lacking them facts, you about to be the res. Because I'm tracking attacks like an angry Judge Dredd. Don't come trying to put me on blast or end up in traction. Find yourself in more casts than even Samuel Jackson. But if you're not an imposter, no need to warn you. If you want to live long and prosper, got something for you. If your blackest night needs some light, then I'll shine above you. If you're frozen in carbonite, here comes someone who loves you. Greetings, programs. Welcome to the Jedi HoloCast, the one and only podcast broadcasting to and about the multiverse. I'm your host, Digital Jedi, coming to you sanctimoniously live from Jedi Temple 1. Episode 2, it took a few weeks, months, years to come out, but we're ready. We've got a whole new format ready to go. I have brand new co-hosts that I'd like to introduce you to. First, I'd like to start with my friend from same continent, but whole other universe. Hey, it's serious. Hey, serious. Hey, it's serious.
Hey, it's me.
How, how do we address usernames that are like that? We just, you know what I'm saying. Hey, serious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
serious is fine. Yeah.
serious. thank, you, thank you for being a part of the show. And let me introduce my other co-host from across the pond, Danny Buckle.
Hello. I did the British bit in a previous take. I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, we'll figure out some way to make you more British because there's like an expectation here.
You have to meet
90%
your
of my
quota.
listeners are American, so like, yeah. we have very stereotypical expectations of people. No, but guys, thank you for being on my show, for helping me make some more content on the show.
Yeah.
Like I was doing this solo for the longest time. My first episode of this particular iteration of the podcast was solo,
Mhm.
and yeah, it's not as easy talking to yourself as you might think. Um, I appreciate you guys being on and giving me some contrary opinions to bounce ideas off of, because we definitely have differing opinions on things. And this will probably not be the type of podcast where we're all agreeing on the same
Oh, definitely
subjects.
not.
Yeah,
You
we
are
have a
wrong about Free Willy.
we have some very, very diverse opinions. There's going to be a whole separate episode about Free Willy, so we
Oh boy.
we will get into that later. But one of the things we are going to do today is our topic for today. Our main topic is movies that we love, that not everybody seems to care for. There's some controversy surrounding whether these movies are good, but like, we kind of don't understand why necessarily.
Yeah.
Um, I've stated before that I am of the opinion that I'm kind of against the concept of the guilty pleasure.
I was
You
gonna
know,
bring that up. Yeah.
yeah,
'Cause- yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, no, because we had that conversation. I think it was probably in the test episode, right, where we were sort of talking about
I think
what we wanted
so.
to do
Yeah,
this week. Yeah, and like I agree, because like there definitely is the idea that like what is there to feel guilty about? Like,
right.
is there a criminal reason to feel guilty? Like,
And,
that's the
and like I said when the last time we talked about it, I feel like that's a bit of a too literal interpretation of it. It's more of
Mhm.
just like it's one of those things where it's like, okay, like you can see the flaws in something, but you still enjoy it regardless. That's what it's meant to mean. Not like
Right.
literally like, oh, I feel ashamed, but I still enjoy it. Like, if that's the case, then that's not good. Like, don't feel
Yeah.
ashamed for liking something.
Yeah, well, because generally when I hear people use the expression, they're like expressing it like, I know I like this thing. I know it's terrible, but I can't help myself. I like, and it's just like, well, no,
And you
you
like it.
enjoy it. It's valid to you. So I sort of feel like people use the expression to mean like they feel bad about liking this thing. At least that's the way I've interpreted it over the years.
Mhm.
But but yeah, I would what's because there's a couple of other expressions like that that I'm going to I have this video that I plan to work on where I'm going to like make a list of expressions that I just I won't really be using on the channel. They
Right.
kind of go against my philosophy when it comes to watching films, and that's going to be in there. But yeah, I mean, fair point. Not everybody means it that way,
Mhm.
but I do hear it used that way an awful lot. Like, uh, I am the only one of my friends that enjoys "Love Will Keep Us Together." Therefore, I must feel bad about that
Yeah.
somehow. Yeah.
Like,
So, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, thinking back, like, when there was times where I would disagree with friends on a movie, like there would be this like inherent feeling of like, am I wrong? Because I have a dissenting opinion, which, yeah,
Right.
yeah, I do see where you're coming from and thinking about it.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like the philosophy that I'm trying to put out to people is I'm like, feel good about the movies that you like. I mean, short of like if your favorite movie is Birth of a Nation, okay, maybe
Yeah,
Maybe you should feel a little guilty about that.
yeah, maybe there's some issues there, but, like, generally speaking, when we're talking about just entertainment, like what you like,
Yeah,
you don't have to it's not a thing that requires justification, it's a thing that appeals to you. It's
exactly.
subjective.
Yeah.
So, we each I assume each of us kind of have, like, either a list of 1 or 2 or more movies that we're fond of, but that generally kind of have that reputation for not being quote unquote good movies.
Yeah.
So what what we can do is we can just go around um, and like bring up those movies and just have a discussion around that. So anyone want to go first?
Yeah, I guess the first one that I would like to talk about, because we did sort of talk about it before recording, and I sort of brought it up like when we did the test session.
Right.
But the Lone Ranger, like the
Yeah.
2013 Johnny Depp Army Hammer joint, that
Yeah.
like, and like as we discussed before the show, I am shocked, like baffled, absolutely in awe of the fact that it's not well regarded, that people don't like it to the extent that they like the Pirates of the Caribbean
Yeah.
movies. Because like it's that it's everything that those have. Like even like people complain about. I remember I saw a while back someone was saying that like it doesn't want to know if it's a lighthearted movie or if it's a dark serious thing, but like that's the pirates movies, right? Like that's what those are as well. Like it's you got Jack Sparrow like in those movies he is the like he is a main character and he is just comic relief for the most part. That's what he does. He's goofy, he's wacky. And then you've
Uh-huh.
got like a romance, you got like with the Lone Ranger, it's just that but transplanted into a different setting with like another like franchise slash character that you wouldn't expect to have like a modern day movie. The Pirates of the Caribbean ride, the Lone Ranger, a franchise that is very antiquated, I would suppose, in the modern day. But like, because like just everything about it, like I enjoy all of the performances in that, like Army Hammer, like obviously Johnny Depp, Helena Bonham Carter for her like 5 minutes of screen time,
Yeah.
the
Her wooden leg.
yeah, like the ceramic gun thing that everyone
Yeah.
wants to touch. Like, I'll like the villains who now I'm blanking on the actors' names, but like I don't think I knew him in the first place. But like Butch Cavendish, sort of like you've got him who's like
Right.
excellent. He is like just insane, like this like monster of a man who's like a very threatening figure to have as like a physical force compared to like the that sort of like the railroad baron, whatever he is, like that sort of older guy. Like
Hmm.
he is that like intellectual kind of villain you'd want. There is also that general who ends up sort of flipping sides halfway through when he realizes that like I guess also spoilers, I guess, for all the movies we'll be talking about.
Right. Yeah. Pretty much, more or less.
Yeah,
I'll try to put a spoiler warning in
yeah,
advance for what we're
yeah.
talking about. But yeah.
But yeah, like that general who realizes that, oh, I've been killing all these natives under false pretenses. If that comes out, I'm gonna be hung. So I should probably kill the Lone Ranger or whatever. But like the characters are all so interesting to watch, and like like it's just like it's a fun movie. It's fun, and it's and like I am always entertained watching it. The action
Yeah.
sequences in that, because again it's the Pirates of the Caribbean stuff, like all the wacky jumping across, doing stuff, but like in a Western setting. Like the first action sequence of the movie, you've got the Lone Ranger and Tonto. They have their hands chained together. They have to make their way from like the middle slot, like or back area of a train to the front. They are chained together like with handcuffs, so they're jumping across at the same time. They're like at one point they have to pull the pin to separate the train out. So the Lone Ranger, like he's stood up, he's holding the chain, and Tonto just like flips backwards and is like being suspended like at a 90-degree angle so he can reach the pin and pull it out. It's like they swing on the chain on those like things that like I don't know what those are, like the hooks that like are on train tracks. Like you've
Yeah.
got that. Like they put the chain in between them and swing around, like double back, kick a guy. Like it's just like it's incredible stuff. I
Yeah.
love it. But like it's just it's not, people don't like it. And like I don't think you can chalk that up entirely to Johnny Depp playing Tonto. Like I don't think you can just say, oh, people didn't want that. Um I do think it is in part definitely to the fact that it came out 2 years after On
The
Stranger
f-
Tides did, the fourth
yeah. The fourth
Pirates
one.
movie. Which like
Yeah.
yeah, sorry.
People were kind of a little dubious about about just anything with Johnny Depp at that point.
Yeah. Like it was yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wholeheartedly agree with you on The Lone Ranger. I don't get it either.
Yeah.
I watched it and I was like, I watched it after it left theaters, and I was
Mm,
expecting like, well, I guess this just wasn't up to the same level of action and entertainment as the Pirates films were. But when I watched it, I was like, I don't understand why this didn't do better at
yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah, like critically, financially, but again, it's the reason I guess is that like it was that era of like Johnny Depp where it was like the Lone Ranger Pirates for that remember that vampire movie he did that looked really bad? I can't
Dark
remember what it was
Shadows.
called. Yeah, Dark
Dark.
Shadows. Like that
Yeah.
one did not look very good.
That
And
was
I
also
assume
a remake, reboot.
uh but yeah, like bad time to be Johnny Depp, I guess. Like I mean like it's he hasn't had the hottest run in recent years either. But like you know,
Might be a worse time to be Johnny Depp right now, but yeah.
yeah, but like
But yeah, no.
yeah. Lone Ranger definitely won. I do have another, but I guess like one of you guys can sort of take the reins now.
Yeah, uh, anything to say on that one, Danny?
Uh, not really, cause I've not seen the Lone Ranger, and
Okay.
every time I hear people talk about it, it's literally just people saying, "Yeah, why wasn't this bigger?" Uh, like
Yeah.
from both of you, I remember years ago when I still watched the Nostalgia Critic. He talked about it and was like, "This should have been more well received." Uh, yeah, like just in general, it seems to be like um a a movie that's looked back on fondly, but just in that moment, was just not vibing with people, which is weird.
Yeah, my sense for a lot of these movies that we'll probably list here is like sometimes it seems like they just came out at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Sometimes even some movies where I'm just like, yeah, you definitely didn't do well because it wasn't particularly good. I feel like should have probably done a little bit better,
Mhm.
but like the timing, the conversation surrounding the film, the reputation of the film before it even comes out seems to have a great deal of impact on how many people actually go see it when it first opens in theaters.
Yeah.
So, Danny, do you have a film in particular in mind?
I talked about this with Sirius yesterday, but like I was kind of struggling to think of a movie to talk about for this
Mhm.
because a lot of the movies I had in mind were ones I haven't seen in a very long time, like like the Stuart Little movies. Uh, um, and I was just like, okay, I'm not gonna go to bat for something I haven't seen since I was a child. So,
Mhm.
Okay.
so I had to think of something that I'd seen like within the past few years, and then Sirius mentioned like one of the MCU movies, and then I realized, oh yeah, I really like Iron Man too, and
Oh,
and it has a reputation for being like the worst of Phase One, the worst Iron Man movie, like
yeah.
only being like seen as better than like Thor Two, uh,
Mhm.
and and like I get it on some level, right? Like, um, I have to admit there are moments in the movie where Tony is a bit too Tony like, well, for lack of a better way to put it, where it's like, yeah, like full on rich billionaire asshole. Uh,
Yeah.
especially like the drunk party scene. But like
Yeah.
that's the point. So
Yeah.
it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, um, you don't have to like the point, but it's still the point of it. It kind of has to happen. But like
Yeah.
the main thing that like makes the movie work for me is the villains. I absolutely love Justin Hammer and Ivan Vanko.
Yeah.
Like like ever since I was a kid, I just love the fact that there's this big Russian dude with a fucking bird, a bird that he's really attached to. There was something about that that just like made him like instantly likable to me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I think like even I could probably watch a whole movie just with those two bickering back and forth the whole time while like Ivan's just tinkering with some machinery. Uh, and like
I don't know why I'm blanking on Ivan's real name.
Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke. Dude,
yeah,
Mickey Rourke is yeah, amazing in that film.
yeah, like they both of them are great. And like since we know that Armor Wars is coming up, like I can't wait to see Justin Hammer inevitably show up in that. Uh,
Yes.
hopefully that show will like help maybe get some people off of Iron Man 2's back a bit
Mhm.
as they see how great Justin Hammer really is again.
Yes.
Hopefully. Yeah, like it's a movie that I think is definitely has its flaws, and I understand why people aren't uh, big fans of it, but I personally just enjoy it. Again, the villains just make the movie for me. Plus,
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to go wrong with Iron Man. Like Robert Downey Jr. is just inherently fun as the
Yeah.
character, even when he's at his most obnoxious. Uh,
Yeah. He's kind of charming, even though he's, a douchebag through
yeah,
a lot of that for a lot of that movie. It's kind of a weird rope to walk. No, I agree with you there too. I think I was probably one of the only people who thought Iron Man 2 was better than the first one when it came out. Because my thing with Iron Man 1 was I thought it was brilliant, but I thought it ended kind of abruptly.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
yeah, with Iron Man 2, I was like, well, I still thought the same thing for Iron Man 2, that it ended a little sooner than I was expecting, but I felt like I felt like the bad guy got to be a threat for far longer in that
Oh
film,
yeah.
since he was a threat from like one of the opening scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it felt more like getting rid of the bad guy felt more earned to me than it did in the first movie, where like we don't quite, I mean, we sort of know, but we don't quite know, and there's a number of other bad guys who get their comeuppance through the course of the movie, and then we
Mhm.
get to the main bad guy who's taken out in fairly short order. So yeah, I've just felt like Iron Man 2 was structured a little bit better, even though the
Mhm.
first one is great.
So I still prefer the first one over the second one, but
Hmm.
I just much prefer the villains in the second one over the first one. That's
Mhm.
my main thing. Even though Jeff Bridges is great,
Yeah.
I will. You'll never hear me like talk badly about Jeff Bridges, uh, especially since he has like
No.
colon cancer or something now. Like I just feel in
Yeah.
bad taste.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like I just find the villains in Iron Man 2 way more entertaining.
Yeah, I don't think he was given a whole lot to do in the first one. Bridges, like he was definitely good with what they gave him, but like I said, his villainy was kind of short lived.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the main things I remember with him in that movie are like, you know, Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps. Because that got memeified. uh,
Yeah.
like his the bit where he just like casually gets his men to just massacre a bunch of terrorists, which is just like,
Yeah,
geez, man, very cold,
yeah.
Mhm.
very dark moment. And otherwise, relatively, like lighthearted is the wrong word, but like it, it felt,
It kind of comes out of nowhere just a little bit.
yeah, and like, and the scene where he's like removing the heart from Tony, which I
Oh
know,
yeah,
That's the one I remember. From
yeah,
like Jeff Bridges, I remember that.
yeah, because like everyone, I know people would often say like it has homoerotic tension, uh, and it's like, I mean, I don't know, I don't know about that one, but
Is it because he's literally playing with his heart? Is that the
yeah, I guess I just remember hearing that a lot and being like, okay, uh,
he ripped his heart out. Oh
Yeah.
my
fuck,
I have to admit, I honestly hadn't heard that before.
I
Neither
have
have I.
a bunch
Oh
of
god.
times, and it's like,
Uh,
uh,
yeah, I definitely didn't see that. That's an interesting perspective. Uh, no, I agree. I think it's pretty good. I would think that probably people think Iron Man 3 is worse than 2, but
I think that's the ultimate MCU debate. Like, which one
is
do
it
you dislike more? Yeah, I think that's
Iron Man?
probably the one that people
Yeah.
talk
yeah,
about. Like, is Iron Man 3 worse or is Iron Man 2 worse? And I legitimately, I haven't seen Iron Man 2 in years. Like, I've seen Iron Man 3 like on TV more times than I don't think I've ever seen Iron Man 2 like on like satellite or anything. So I can't really weigh in, but I can't say like I don't know
Yeah.
like what I think of it compared to the rest of the trilogy, but like I definitely remembered like liking the first one the most just because I like the way like the suit is. I like that. But like Iron Man 2 definitely is the one where I'm like, but I like War Machine. Like I really like, like we see Don Cheadle in that. We see him in like the War Machine armor. And, like we
Yeah.
see him doing stuff. He's got the like the chain gun on the shoulder. He's got like the
it's
it's
white.
like Yeah, yeah, it's great. Everything that I want. But like, yeah, Iron Man 2 is one of those ones that I really have to go back to.
So this is like skipping ahead to to like the third or fourth one on my list that I was going to bring up, but I might as well
Mhm.
since we're talking about it here. I was going to say like Iron Man 3
Yeah.
um uh like I think is better than people give it credit for. Cuz like I've rewatched it a bit lately and I'm just
Mhm.
like this movie's like the moment where he saves the people in the that fall out of Air Force One,
Yeah.
I think that's one of the best moments in the MCU. Like
Yeah,
that
it's
is a
great.
true superhero save the day moment
Yeah.
because that
So
just seemed like an impossible task, and you're just like, there's no way he's going to be able to save everybody, and somehow pulls it off. And I'm just like, I love um just about everything about that movie, particularly with the way like he deals with his he's suffering from PTSD from his events in Avengers,
Yeah.
and like they do a really good job depicting it and him having to deal with it and him making mistakes because of it. And just overall I just feel like it's underrated for the topics that it was tackling and how well it tackled those subjects.
Yeah.
I've always put Iron Man 3 as my least favorite of the trilogy, but I've always like tried to
Mhm.
specify that just because it's my least favorite of the three and near the bottom end of the MCU, that doesn't mean I dislike it. Because I love all the stuff with Harlan. I like
Yeah.
all the stuff with like the exploration of PTSD. I there's a whole bunch of like action moments that I really like. I
Mhm.
like a bit with like Tony and Rhodey like going up together when like Rhodey's just armed with a handgun near the end. And like you said that plane sequence where he's saving all the
Yeah.
people, that is a brilliant sequence.
Yeah.
Um I think the thing that weighs it down for me is the same thing that elevates Iron Man 2, the villains.
Mhm.
I don't
Ah,
I I don't know the actor's name, but like the guy who plays Killian does like a fine job as like
Mhm.
Guy
uh
Pearce.
yeah, as like an alright like movie bad guy, but like
Mhm.
compared to like um Justin Hammer, Whiplash, and even like again Jeff Bridges, uh, like he just doesn't really stand out at all. Ben Kingsley does. I will say that, but like
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
I
great.
he's fun and like that initial reveal is kind of neat.
Mhm.
But I've always kind of fallen into the camp that's like, but I want to see the actual Mandarin though. I have to admit, like it's
Just you wait. 2021, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, we basically had to wait for it, and I think the part of maybe that's part of the reason why I'm a little softer on it than the whole Mandarin thing than maybe I would have been is because I feel like we were gonna get the real Mandarin at some point, I felt
Mhm.
like.
yeah,
Um,
I know they did a
uh,
short that showed that the Mandarin was real, in like
yeah,
Yeah.
response to negative, like backlash about
All
the
hail.
reveal.
Yeah.
all
That's
hail
also
the
the one
king,
where they
yeah.
reveal that Justin Hammer's bisexual in the MCU.
Yeah,
It's like, hey,
Yeah.
yeah.
cool win, let's go. Uh,
Yeah, and they and that's presumably that's who's replacing, well, no, I think they've already stated that's who Shang-Chi's father is gonna be in,
yeah,
in, um well, Shang-Chi,
Yeah.
Legend of the Ten Rings. I forgot it was
Co
named after him.
Coming in
Yeah,
2021,
because
we're
because uh, they can't have his comic book dad,
yeah, Fu
and,
Manchu.
yeah.
Uh,
It's a little bit problematic to
Yeah,
have his
just
comic
a
book dad.
tad, a little
Yeah.
bit.
In the movie that's supposed to be like, to do for for Asian Americans what Black Panther did for
Yeah,
African Americans.
are
You
gonna
probably can't have a Fu Manchu in your movie. I'm
have
just saying.
this walking stereotype, just like absolutely like everything wrong with Asian comic characters, like from that era.
Yeah,
Like,
I
yeah.
the
mean,
guy who was literally created to embody the yellow peril stereotype.
Yeah.
You can't have him in your yeah.
honestly, I'd argue if someone was going to try and reinterpret him for the modern era, doing it in a movie that's made for Asian Americans by Asian Americans would be the one of the most appropriate places to do it, like complete reappropriation. But
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know me and you have had like minor back and forth about that before, where it's like, can he receive a
Rehab.
liberal redemption arc? I don't
Well,
know.
see, he's not like a character like say Charlie Chan. Like Charlie Chan was created to be a rebuttal to the yellow peril stereotype.
Mhm.
He was like well educated Asian man who solved murder mysteries with his son, you know.
Yeah.
And like even though they goofed and never cast an Asian man to play Charlie Chan in any of the film adaptations,
Uh,
his for whatever reason his son was always an Asian actor, so there was that. But for whatever reason he was always played by like like I think the last person to play him was Peter Ustinov. So like yeah, never had an actual Asian man play Charlie Chan. So, but I like in that sense, I feel like you can rehabilitate that character very easily. But like Fu Manchu, you can't because he was implicitly designed to be a bad, a stereotype of all Asian, yellow peril era. So like his name isn't even a thing. Like his name
Mhm.
is not a thing in any language. um, Asian Americans generally hate him because of that, and he was just created to be the Asian bad guy who was going to take over America in whatever insidious plot they could work him into, and also never played by an Asian actor. Uh,
Mhm.
Probably for good reasons in that case, though.
Yeah.
So
uh,
Yeah.
and like I've the and I don't know if this could be apocryphal, but the story that goes around the creation of the Fu Manchu character is the guy who created it. Um, the story is that he asked a Ouija board, uh, what is the greatest threat to the white man,
Oh
and
dear.
oh boy.
The Ouija board spelled out China Man.
Oh dear. Oh
Oh
no.
So
Oh
god.
I
no.
Fucking lord.
whether that's true or not, I feel like maybe there's just a little too much baggage
Yeah.
I in Fu Manchu's case to be able to proper to because like to rehabilitate someone, there's like got to be like inherently some good in the character to begin with, and it doesn't seem like there was ever any good in Fu Manchu to be. Not even he didn't even have an Asian name, so
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I try to cling on to the idea of like any character can be redeemed. Like,
Enter Shazam.
like maybe you could.
uh,
Any character. Yeah, but like maybe you could like if you like made him not Asian, I think is the only way you could redeem that character.
so the only way to redeem him is to whitewash him. I
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
I I don't know. Like, I'm also the guy that's like in the past pushed for making fucking Steamboat, like bringing Steamboat back and trying to fix him. I just think it's better to like take a concept and try to modernize it than just let it stick out as just like a relic of like explicit racism in the past.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
don't
I get
know.
well, but like it's sort of like the way I sort of look at it is like there's like if you were to take one of the characters from the old black and white cartoon Snow Coal Black and the Seven Dwarves, and it was literally spelled seven with two
Oh boy.
B's.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Oh no.
Like I don't like. I feel like you couldn't like take any like even Coal Black herself. I don't feel like you could say, yeah, we're gonna rehabilitate uh uh this over sexualized black female character and bring her into the modern era in a new Disney movie or whatever what have you. I
Mhm.
feel like if you're gonna like introduce a black counterpart to Snow White, you just do it like Disney did and do it with Tiana or the Princess and the Frog. I don't feel like you can actually like I do feel like there's a line that you where the recovery becomes much more difficult.
Yeah.
Or more difficult than it's worth.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
Exactly.
yeah, because like you could like I could think of some ways to bring Fu Manchu back that removes all of the problematic elements. Like say, okay, he was actually this ancient, long-lived um, Chinese man who allowed his name to become messed up so that he could move under the radar. People would not realize that he Chinese people would think he was fake, he was something made up, a
Mm.
boogeyman made up by the Americans. I could come up with all kinds of ways
See,
to
that's
to
cool
kind
as
of
hell.
make that work, but at the same time Asian Americans and Asians in general are going to be like, yeah, but he sucks though.
Yeah.
Mm.
But we
Yeah.
hate him. Don't rehabilitate him because we hate him so much.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, there is a like a an is it worth it element to the whole thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. Like, I'm just thinking back to when Grant Morrison managed to take fucking Egg Foo, uh, that really racist like Wonder Woman villain, and like they made him like this actually kind of cool looking villain for
Mhm.
52 comics. And it's like
Right.
I think that's the main thing that like got the idea of wow, any character can be made like cool or at least better if there's enough effort put into it. But at the same time, I have no idea like how like Chinese people feel about that modernization of egg foo. So
Right. Yeah.
uh, I don't know.
The- There's always that element. Well, like they did a pretty good job with Black Panther where they, you know, just
Yeah.
drop the whole man ape
Yeah.
code name. Yeah. And just,
Yeah,
they're the tribe who lives in the mountains and they worship the gorilla god. So
yeah,
the gorilla themes are still there, but they're not there.
yeah,
There.
and
We're not going to call the black man it's a very
yeah,
very glad they
and,
stuck to Mbaku. I think that's fine. They don't
yeah.
have like
And they also
Yeah.
completely reverse the whole like cannibalistic aspect of the white gorilla tribe.
Yes.
right.
That was there, and instead made them vegetarians, and the whole
Yeah.
"will you" thing is played as a joke, which
Right.
is great. I fucking
Mhm.
love how they handle Mbaku because I I was always fond of Mbaku. Like I remember seeing him in Earth Mightiest Heroes as a kid and being like, yeah, giant, just this giant dude in this like gorilla suit. He's fucking cool. And like seeing him in
Yeah.
the movie, and like I fucking love Winston Duke, so like it was
Yeah.
just great. He stood out to me
Nailed
by
it.
far in that movie. Uh,
And the masks that they were excellent. Yeah.
yeah, can't wait to see more Winston Duke in these movies.
Yeah, there was stuff to work with there. But yeah, I don't I I'm I just I feel like going with the Mandarin was probably a good idea since they hadn't burnt that bridge yet,
Yeah,
uh, which I'm glad they didn't with, in retrospect. And
yeah,
really that whole moment where, what Trevor, is
yes,
revealed to be the phony that he is, like, it was so good.
yeah,
Like, I wanted to be upset, but at the same time, Kingsley was selling that a drug addicted, just completely irredeemable, bad actor so well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's just like, "Hello, my name is Trevor." Like,
Plus, is
That
definitely something.
I couldn't be mad at him.
Yeah. Plus, there's definitely something to be said about like the commentary there of like a man that is not like okay, you just get a man that seems vaguely like Middle Eastern, Asian, and prop him up as this dangerous threat, and immediately all of America begins to panic, uh,
Yeah,
without um without him like not actually doing anything. Like
Mhm,
there's some good commentary there with him, which
yeah.
is neat.
I was thinking too when you were talking about, how the villains weren't necessarily the most standout thing from Iron Man 3, it got me to thinking about how, Guy Pearce wasn't supposed to be the main villain.
mhm.
Um, Trying to think of who,
Was it
uh
was it the lady? Like, is that who you're thinking of? Like the scientist love interest who
yeah,
switches around?
was it Rebecca Hall? I think it was Rebecca Hall.
Possibly.
Yeah,
I just remember she was
yeah,
in the movie, like an
yes,
ex-fling of Tony's or whatever.
yes, she was supposed to be the main villain, and, I always forget his name, the guy that used to work for, though that still works for Marvel, but he used to have a lot more power, over the MCU.
Perlmutter,
Uh,
Perlmutter, yeah.
fucking
He
great.
apparently stepped in and said, basically that they needed to change the bad guy because, boys don't buy girl action figures.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that makes
yeah.
sense.
So they changed it, which, like, that would have been an interesting twist, especially the way it looked like they had to rewrite the movie to
Yeah.
make it fit Pierce because, well, I mean, obviously those Guy Pierce action figures sold like hotcakes. I'll grant you that. I can't tell you how hard it is to get a hold of a Killian action figure, but I think it would have been pretty interesting to see to have a less stereotypical villain than what
Mhm.
we did end up getting. And I
Yeah,
think Guy Pierce did a
definitely.
good job. It just was kind of stuff we'd seen before.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just went and checked. They never even made a Killian toy, which is great. In the like he's
I
absolutely
mean, like, I'm
never.
sure there was a Lego figure, but like, you know, that would have existed regardless if he was the main villain or not.
Right. Well, like, what was the deal? Remember, Age of Ultron? Like,
Yeah.
they made they put every single Avenger on the motorcycle except for the woman who actually rode the motorcycle in the movie. Like, they put Iron Man on it, they put Cap on it, I think they put Hawkeye on it, but
Mm,
Black Widow, who actually was on the motorcycle in the movie, is not even a figure in the collection.
mm.
So,
Yeah,
like,
I would not be surprised. Like,
genius.
I guess, like, on the topic of MCU movies that get a lot of hate that we like, I am on the record as really liking the Incredible Hulk, which
Yeah,
I
something
I
that.
really enjoy.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah,
you
actually
guys think of it, but like I think it's like it is much better than people give it credit for. Like it's a very compelling narrative to me. Like I love just it's the thing that make I'm like I like the Hulk. Like I'm watching it and I'm like I love all the stuff where he has to like monitor his heart rate, where he has to like like lay low and everything. Like
Yeah.
like Tim Roth as Emil Blonsky is like
Yes.
probably one of the better villains of the MCU. Like I'm so happy he's going to come back for She-Hulk. Uh,
Yeah.
Yes. Let's
Yeah.
fucking
like
go.
the Incredible Hulk. Like I like that. I like the dad from Modern Family as this like just like this absolute lameo who Betty Ross. I think he's supposed to be Doc Samson, yeah. But
Yeah.
like I like him. I like Tim Blake Nelson as the leader. I wish we would see him again. I think that would be a really great casting to see. We did get that tease. I liked him as that weird support character, like someone that Bruce could actually trust. But like I would like I like Tim Blake Nelson is a great actor. Like he's just would love to see him with the big head, big head, green orange suit. Like put him
Yes.
in something else, please. But like yeah, like the Incredible Hulk is one that like I I really enjoy it. Like if it also obviously was like it came out the same year as Iron Man, so like it does escape, I guess, that sort of blanket that people tend to make about like the MCU being samey, which I agree to an extent. Like I don't think it's like
Mm.
I don't think it's the same movie 23 times or whatever. But I think there are definitely like maybe some beats tone wise that like sort of but I mean it's a mold. It's a mold that John Favreau set with Iron Man 1. But like the Incredible Hulk
Mhm.
is not that at like it is unique in the MCU even before stuff like Guardians. Like it's like it just
Right.
it was so much it was dark and it just looked different. Cause
Mm.
again, it was just it was filmed at the same time, so they didn't know that, oh, Iron Man like that vibes with audiences. So we like they had none of that in the Incredible Hulk. Like it's a very different movie. Like it
Yeah.
like I enjoy again. Like I don't think that every MCU movie is the same. I think a lot of them do fit certain like they all hit certain beats and etc. and whatever. But like they're not all the same. Like Marvel
No.
definitely
Yeah.
does that sometimes, but like then they do stuff where like James Gunn comes in, uh, like everything post like Phase Two. I think kind of suffered, but like then Phase Two also started to move Phase Two like did stuff like with, like the Winter Soldier, like I think Ant Man counts as Phase Two. Like they were like, okay, these are sort of the same, but they're you know they're yeah. I, I don't know, but like the Incredible Hulk, I really enjoy it. And again, I was like I kind of forget how much I enjoy the Hulk as a character uh till I watch that movie because I really I'm thinking it's like Mark Ruffalo is fine as Banner and everything, but like
Mm.
I really do like Edward Norton. Like I think he was excellent, and I understand that like he didn't come back because he's a bit of a hard time to work with, bit of a Chevy Chase, I guess. But yeah, like the Incredible Hulk is one that I think like I know I like it. I know Dan likes it. That's I
I
feel like
I
that's the case
agree.
for a lot of movies. Like
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
I okay. So with the Incredible Hulk, it's interesting because I know we've talked about it before, and
Mhm.
I'll just repeat what I said then, I guess. I love Edward Norton as the Hulk. I
Yeah,
love Tim Roth as the Abomination. I love their fight at the end. I love the opening stuff with Bruce going around in South America, I want to say.
yeah,
Was it? Yeah,
Mhm.
Brazil,
South
I think.
America.
Maybe.
Yeah. I like Tim Blake Nelson as not quite yet leader. Uh, but I I just for some reason like all the stuff with the supporting cast, like outside of those guys, uh, just completely kills it for me. Like I just don't vibe with them at all. So whenever
Mm.
they're on screen,
Mhm.
I just immediately kind of phase out, and I'm like, no, give me Tim Roth back, give me just Edwin Norton on his own back, give me him
Yeah,
screaming to the sky in the rain as the Hulk. Uh,
yeah.
um, like when it gets to the action stuff, I begin to get back into it again. But like
Mhm.
yeah, like I don't know. If the supporting cast members was it Liv Tyler who played
Yeah.
Betty
Yeah,
Ross? Yeah,
yeah.
like if they were a bit more interesting, like if I wish I found them a bit more interesting. I don't know what you
Hmm.
could do to
Mhm.
spruce them up a bit more, but they're the thing that kind of kills it for me. But I still do enjoy it. I just think it's very much
Hmm.
carried by Norton and Roth.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I actually kind of like um, the relationship between Betty and I almost called him David. That's how old I am. Bruce. Yeah, I actually kind of like the relationship between Bruce and Betty because like they don't have much screen time to establish that they are in love with each other,
Yeah.
but like it you believe it when you get to the restaurant scene, the moment on the bridge, you're just like, oh yeah, these two really do have been separated and love each other and like for some films, um like that chemistry isn't always there.
Yeah.
Like, I'll say it. Anakin and Padme, I don't think had it.
No, not
Um,
at all.
I don't think I'm alone
Like,
in that assessment.
Terrible. Like, oh, jeez.
um, but although I have been hearing some talk of people saying that there are some moments where it works. Yeah, we'll have to do an episode on that.
I don't like
But
sand.
but as far as like their relationship is like they don't get but a few, like they don't even really get any scenes together other than his transformation, his origin story in the opening credits. So the only time they have to establish that they are two people that really care about each other is when they finally meet up about a quarter way through the film, and it's
Yeah.
believable. And then their whole chemistry together when he's like, she's gets really angry at the cab driver and he's like, I know some meditation techniques you can you can do for that anger. It
Yeah.
feels like they are a couple that has been separated that finally gets to be together. I mean, I thought they were fun
Mhm.
yeah,
to see together on the screen.
I will
um
say I do think that they do sell that like couple that's being separated thing
mhm.
well. I'm not invested in that relationship despite that, which is
Mm.
Okay.
weird. I know that's a weird take, but like yeah, like I do like when they're talking in like that hotel, like we're about to hook up, and then Bruce checks his like watch thing,
Yeah.
and he's like,
Yeah.
oh damn, and it's like, oh damn, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, like I like that stuff works. It's just I don't connect with Liv Tyler at all,
Mhm.
or
uh
William Hurt, right? Was Ross? I'm bad with
Yes.
last names.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, William Hurt, I think, is the
yeah.
actor.
So like William Hurt, and I know you said you liked him, serious, but
Mhm.
I don't like. I barely even remember him in the movie. Uh,
Which
like
is which is yeah, funny because like I make fun of James Marsden in Superman Returns, but he has like the exact same role in the Incredible Hulk, the dad from Modern Family. Like he's like my wife slash spouse gets stolen away by a superhero she used to date. It's the exact same character. Like, but like I think maybe with James Marsden is because he gave up being Cyclops to become super cucked. But like like guy from Modern Family, I can get Ty something. I don't maybe, but like what
I I was gonna
yeah
say Ty
like
Templeton. That's not right. Uh
I need to find his name. What is his name? Nope, not at all.
with
His name is
Incredible Hulk
Phil.
cast.
Yeah, Ty Burrell. I was right.
Ty
Ty something.
Burrell.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, but like, yeah, the Incredible Hulk is. I definitely like it more than I think people typically do. Uh,
Yeah. So that's interesting. We got into like 3 or 4 films that we that it was mostly Marvel.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, when Sirius, when you were about to mention um Incredible Hulk, I was actually thinking Age of Ultron.
Yeah, because we were talking about Age of Ultron. I was like, I would have brought it up, but I don't like Age of Ultron.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you, Danny? How you feel about Age of Ultron?
Uh,
What is
Age
your
of
hot take?
Ultron is it's certainly a movie. I I it's conflicting. I've said
Okay.
before that I think like I kind of wish it was a Hawkeye movie, which I don't know if that's a weird take or not, because I know
Hmm.
a lot of people do like Hawkeye in that movie in particular
Yeah.
compared to
Hmm.
like the rest of his MCU appearances. But like, I really do think like it could be heavily re-edited into a Hawkeye film, and people could probably get behind it. Like, like I don't know,
Hmm.
just focusing on Hawkeye during this big it's like global conflict with Ultron. Yeah, like the Hawkeye stuff, I absolutely love in that movie. Like everything he does is great. Uh,
Hmm.
Okay.
um, I I do like the like party scene near the opening of the movie.
Hmm.
I think that's very neat.
Oh yeah.
I think it's cool to actually just see all these larger than life personalities just hanging out and chilling together. Uh,
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's like the one time in the MCU that we really get to do that as a big group, which is neat.
Yeah, really.
Um,
Yeah.
I like the introduction of Vision. Um, I like
Mm.
I like Wanda and Pietro. Like I kind of apparently wishes that we got to know Pietro a bit more before he died. But like at the same time, it's like yeah, one of the two was gonna go. Uh, it's probably better we didn't get too attached to him. Uh,
Imagine we could be living in a world where we're watching Pietro Vision.
Things could have gone very well. It'll probably be a what if.
Yeah.
hmm.
That'd be good.
One of the what ifs will be Pietro Vision. I'm calling it now. Um, well, I guess I really am alone on the Age of Ultron thing because I absolutely like I've rewatched it lately,
Hmm.
um, and like I really like it. Like I pretty much like everything about it. Um, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what the issue is that everyone has with the film precisely. Like if there's a general consensus about why
Hmm.
people don't like it as much. I do remember one interesting thing, which I've probably mentioned to you guys in voice chat before.
Yeah.
Um, but what one of the things I noticed when I went to see it is that I sat in a different part of the theater where I had never sat before. I don't usually sit towards the back.
Right.
I never do. I think this is the first time in my entire life I'd ever sat in like one of the back sections. I'm always closer to the front, kind of midway, so I'm not too close, not too far away that I can't see the screen. Um, and the thing that I noticed about the audience when I went to see Age of Ultron was the section of audience that I was sitting in didn't seem to be enjoying the film. The section where I normally sit did seem to be enjoying the film. And
Hmm.
like I'm the only one laughing by myself in the section with the people that are not enjoying it. They're dead silent. Like they are so quiet. Like they're uncomfortably quiet. Like have some kind of reaction, people. You're starting to freak me out after a while. And
Yeah.
and especially contrasted with the section where I would normally be. It's just like everybody's having a great time over there and I'm like this is just like high school all over again. Um So I don't know if, like, maybe there was just, like, that group was maybe small and that's where I should have been, and I haven't been able to find them again. We've been disconnected ever since.
It's like
But I
Cinderella.
I was enjoying the humor, I was enjoying, what's his face as the villain
James
because
Spader.
I
James
yeah,
Spader.
Spader. I love Spader's voice.
Yeah.
I loved the premise, I loved how it was the action, I loved how everything was resolved, I love the things that y'all mentioned. There's not anything that I can find to criticize about it, and I really feel, very alone on that opinion.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to remember how I felt the last time I watched it. Uh, like because from what I remember, it was just like that feeling of, oh, like that happened, and now I have no real want to ever see it again. Like not like an aggressive feeling or anything like that. Not
Right.
like, oh, this movie, I hate it. Just like, oh,
It's
that,
more ambivalence.
yeah,
Yeah.
which I shouldn't feel to an Avengers movie. I don't know. It's weird. I do think a large part of the like mixed to negative reaction from fans uh is just based on like over exaggerated expectations set from the first one. Because like everyone was fucking like obsessed with the first one after it came out. Like I have not forgotten just how uh fixated everyone was on the Avengers after the first movie. And like right up until Age of Ultron came out, it was like, yes, best MCU movie, best MCU movie. Like some people started going to bat for Winter Soldier or Guardians after they came out. Uh,
Hmm.
but like they're still just like for the most part, it's just like Avengers hype, Avengers hype. Then Age of Ultron came out, and it's like there's still a bunch of people who were like, yes, this is goaded, this is incredible. Fuck yeah, Joss Whedon can do no wrong.
Remember those days?
uh,
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 I
and
still don't like the Black Widow and Bree stuff. I think that is peak. This is why I don't like Joss Whedon. The nerdy guy is gonna the hot spy. I'm like, come on, man. Come on.
Oh,
Like,
come on.
I like that he acknowledged it in Infinity War and Endgame though. Like the subtle ways they acknowledge it without really like having to like outwardly address it too much. It's like
mhm.
considering how weak that romance was in Age of Ultron, I do think that the Russos handled it very gracefully. Uh,
Mhm.
and it could have just as easily just been like they could have just like completely like aggressively dismissed the romance in like a very like angry fanboyish way. But
Yeah,
no, we're much more like professional about just being like, yeah, this isn't a thing that's happening.
yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
which I appreciate that. Uh,
The MCU doesn't, um is it's not it's self-deprecating, but it's not that kind of self-deprecating where it's like, uh, "Oh, okay, you think this is garbage, so we're gonna treat it like garbage."
Yeah.
It's they still acknowledge the stuff that, like, happened because
Mhm.
it happened, like,
yeah,
we're not this is one of the things that I think, um, hurts other, uh, studios that try to do a cinematic universe. They basically just ignore the one that didn't do well, and as a result, they just, take a brick out from what they were planning on building,
Green Lantern
whereas the
one.
DC.
yeah, Green Lantern, uh, Dracula what was it?
Exactly
Dracula
Untold.
Untold? Yeah,
So I was
Yeah.
um,
through Netflix earlier today, and I was like, "Fuck, should I watch this at some point?" Do I want to
Yeah.
sit through Dracula's superhero origin story? Uh,
Yes, yes, you do.
Yes, yes. And then watch The Mummy and then try to connect the 2. Uh,
uh,
but yeah, so I feel like you can't just ignore stuff because it doesn't do well if you wanna build a cinematic universe, and so, like,
Mhm.
they're not pretending like Ultron wasn't a thing
Yeah,
in WandaVision or,
yeah,
any of this, of the other things. They don't pretend like Sokovia
yeah,
is a major event. It's a significant event that changed the face of the MCU. If they ignored that, people would be like, You dropped a city out of the sky. We're just gonna
yeah,
pretend like that didn't happen?"
yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah.
You have to take every building block to keep things going. Like
Yeah.
even if those certain blocks are very much not well liked, it's
mhm.
like
Right.
it's just something you kind of have to do.
And don't trash it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
there's plenty of people that will do that for free. They'll base their whole YouTube channel around it. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's not necessary.
Yeah,
Uh,
like the closest I can think of the MCU comes to like trashing on something is like maybe like like the dismissiveness towards the supporting cast from the first two Thor movies and Ragnarok. And
mhm.
even then it's like that's not that bad. It's like okay, they get a bunch of them get killed off and a bunch of them are kind of like hand waved away as not being from them not being around.
Mhm.
It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's fine.
yeah, and they were mostly trying to establish stakes in that case. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that doesn't really bother me that much.
I feel like people undersell oh, what's his name? The other guy from a Warriors 3 that lasts the longest. Out of the three of them.
Is it Faendal? Faendrel?
Maybe? Uh,
Which one is it?
it's
Like
it's the one played by
Zachary Levi?
and I don't remember. Uh, either way, like I do like his like kind of like last stand scene against Hela. Quite
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
yeah, like I also thought that was neat. Uh, this is like even he had a moment, even if it wasn't like the most ceremonious moment. So it's not like they get nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, you're getting Sif back in the next one anyway. So
Yeah, it's great.
So, yeah, I feel like we probably had a lot more to say about the MCU, and probably would still have a lot more to say. I would like to take a moment to, uh, did everybody get to do like a couple of films? Mention at least two of their.
I mentioned too, yeah.
Yeah.
I ended up well, I only brought up one, but like I
Okay.
had enough to say about the other ones anyway. So I'm good.
Okay. Okay. Because I have a much longer list, so I was going to like base it on how much you guys. I'm from Brooklyn now. How much you guys had to say.
Hit me, Bob.
Uh, uh, but yeah, but like, okay, so I'm just gonna list like some of these off, like two or three of these off real quickly. Sucker Punch.
Right.
And y'all know why. Um, the other matrices, not just
Ooh,
the first
Ooh,
Matrix, but the other
right.
ones, I actually do enjoy a lot.
Mhm.
And probably at the top of my list would be Speed Racer.
Ah,
he's
Another Rus-
definitely fun.
another Wachowski siblings joint.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that movie is like gorgeous to look at and is just like and I believe I've mentioned this to you guys before that the physics are ridiculous in this film, but they are consistent throughout the
Yeah,
film.
yeah. They're stupid, but they're consistently
Y-
stupid, which is what
yes,
makes it good.
yes, yeah. So there's an established set of rules with how physics works in this universe, and they work this way, and so they utilize this ridiculousness in creative ways, and
Yeah.
that's what makes it fun. You still feel like it's interesting, but because there's that consistency, then the kind of sense of danger still feels real. You still
Yeah.
feel like there's real jeopardy, even though the overall vibe of the film is a little less serious in tone.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, and the film is just beautiful to look at. Like
Oh, yeah.
I I um I saw it for the first time like when video stores still existed. You
The old
you remember
times.
back when we could go outside? Um
No.
Shortly before that, there were these things called video stores where you had to go and purchase your movies, and they were playing like a Blu-ray copy of Speed Racer on one of the big TVs in the
Ooh.
video store, and I just like stood there for like 10 minutes. I don't usually I don't usually pay attention to movies playing on the screen or whatever, and I was just like, "This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen." I just love the design. It's gorgeous, and I
Yeah.
don't know I mean, I sorta kinda see why it probably didn't do as well as it should have and why people don't talk about it anymore, but I think it's one of those things like there had to be some people out there that could see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
That's me.
surely.
Yeah.
You're busy playing cool, now she's gone. She's gone. Gone on to another while I sing my funky song. I never pass up a chance. I know the story seems long, but when I know the time is right for me and you, I just flame on. Flame on. And on and on. Flame on. Flame on. Flame
So,
on.
today on the show, we wanted to do a little thing where we fan cast whatever. And I've arbitrarily picked as our first movie to fan cast the Fantastic Four in the MCU. So we've each got our ideas and fan casts selected already. So we're gonna start with Sirius and just go round.
But so yeah, for my read, I've only seen him in one thing. I don't know like what his career is like. I've seen this also thrown out, but I really do like the casting. I think he would provide something different to a read compared to the rest of like the I guess the scientists in the MCU. Would
Mhm.
it probably not exactly like what you'd expect read from the comics, but you know it's the MCU. You can't really expect it to be like page to adaptation. But
Right.
John
Unless
David
you're Rock.
Washington, yeah, John, John, John David Washington, who is I believe Denzel's son,
Oh, okay.
the
Oh,
protagonist from Tenet. I think he would be a great read. Also, sort of kept in mind the fact that if we're keeping that Kang link, Kang is a black man in Ant Man Quantumania. I thought, we could do a black read, and I think he'd be great because he'd offer something. Again, like I said to Danny, vaguely, I was like, he would not be like the Tony Stark esque or like sort of like the cynical jackass or like the Bruce Banner. I'm a I'm a bit of a dork. Like he could be like a much more serious, not suave, but like like he could be a much more I don't know. Yeah, like a serious scientist who isn't like, oh, I'm quirky or I'm like sarcastic all the time. But yeah, that's
Right.
sort of my pick for Reed is John David Washington.
Oh, that's
so
interesting. Like, go ahead.
I, I have not seen Tenet, so I am
Hmm.
completely unfamiliar with this guy. But I actually do think you mentioned this casting
Yes.
previously in passing once,
Yeah, it
and
has.
yeah, uh, sure. Uh, I, I'll be up for it. Like,
Yeah, I'm also unfamiliar with his work. That's a cool beard, though.
Mhm.
but like
Yeah.
judging based on like how good of an actor his dad is,
Fair
which
point. Yeah.
uh, like we can assume the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree there. Imagine he'd be good.
So, yeah, that's actually a pretty interesting cast. I need to see Tenet.
Yeah.
I don't even know like what Tenet is about. Like
Yeah.
I literally have just been seeing the word Tenet everywhere. I haven't seen the trailer.
Yeah.
I literally have no idea what the movie's about. So
Neither
I'll
do
just
I. It's okay.
yeah.
Well, that's a good sign.
Alright. Okay, so well actually my fan cast is pretty straightforward and pretty vanilla. No pun intended by comparison. Mine is Chris Pine for Reed Richards.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah. Just because I feel like I think he's got a good sense of humor.
Mhm.
Like he handles the comedy aspects of a serious guy pretty well, and I feel like he could you know stretch his limbs in that character, so to speak.
you just
Yeah.
wanted another Chris added to the MCU, didn't you?
And yeah, we just need more Chris's in the
Yeah.
MCU. And I'm really tired of accidentally naming him as an MCU Chris. So this would kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
Well, I have no idea if this is like an obvious choice or not, but
Mhm.
my Mr. Fantastic would be Tom Cavanagh, the guy who
Oh, okay.
plays all the different versions of Harrison Wells in The Flash.
Oh,
Mm.
okay, yeah. That
Yeah.
guy is great.
Yeah, cause like, especially when he was playing Harry in season 2, like the more
Right.
dickish elements of Reed, I think he could absolutely pull off. But I think he could also pull off like a lot of like the warmer elements too, like the protective family man elements with how he gets protective over Jesse
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
the show. I actually think he would be really great. Plus, I just have a soft spot for Tom. I think he was one of the best actors in The Flash.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, like when it came down to picking who would be my read, it after like a bit of thinking about it, I was just like, oh, yeah, this guy would actually be perfect.
Mhm.
So yeah, Tom is my read.
Mhm.
Excellent. I would have
Yeah.
never yeah, I'd never considered that. I hadn't thought of that. So three great actors, probably,
Yeah.
because I only know two of them. But that
Yeah.
other one set good chance. Good
Yeah.
chance. Uh, okay. So all right. I guess Sue would be up next.
Yeah. So I said for my Sue, I was like, I couldn't. I was I had to think on it a lot because I was like, I don't really know, but then I was like, I was just trying to like imagine like who would be a good fit, or at least who would like give an honest effort and like like research the character, etc. But I think someone who would be great as Sue is I picked Keira Knightley of
Oh, okay.
Pirates of the Caribbean fame to to harken back to that discussion from earlier on. But like
Yeah.
also like she does a lot of like period pieces. I did mean to watch Pride and Prejudice, which I know she's in, sort of nominated for an Oscar for that. But
Right.
in the Imitation Game, kind of forgot that she was like the not love interest. Alan Turing was gay, but she was she was Alan Turing's wife in that, and it just like I think she would be a great fit for like I guess like a more like true to form comics Sue, maybe. So yeah, Kira Knightley, my pick for Sue.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Yeah, and of course our greatest role of all time, Star Wars.
Yeah.
uh Yeah, so I'm going uh similar route as you were with I was going to call her Mrs. Fantastic. That is not her name. The Invisible Woman. Jeez, Lord, I'm old. Um but yeah, my choice for Sue Storm is Kerry Washington. Um, she has not done any like superhero stuff other than she actually has been in the Fantastic Four. She was in the original
Oh,
Um,
I know who you
she
mean. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
she
okay.
played Alicia Masters um, in I think both films. I think she
Yes,
was
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. But she's more well known for stuff like I think she's currently in a series called Little Fires, and but she's probably most well known for Scandal, the series.
Mm,
So yeah, and like I've watched a lot of her work. I've seen Scandal, and I've seen a lot of the movies that she's been in, and I think she like I would love to see her as a superhero because she's just got like this like she can show like a real depth of concern, which um Sue's character is kind of like the I guess you could say the mother figure of the group, where she's
mhm.
like trying to corral all these boys together and make sure that they don't kill each other. But like she has like this she can get this look of determination and fierceness, and she can carry it out really really well. And I think that that would really work for like a modern day interpretation of Sue.
Mhm.
Yeah, so yeah, that's mine.
Yeah,
Oh,
great
cool.
choice.
Yeah. With with my Sue, I was like, okay, I just need an actress who's like in her like 30s to early 40s who can do a solid job playing like uh the um the team mom.
Mhm.
Like
Mm.
there's someone who can like be like fiercely overprotective, but still like very loving and caring and compassionate. And the first person that came to mind uh, was Amy Adams,
Mm,
which I feel like that's a very generic vanilla choice. Uh, but I do, I do think that she could pull it off really well, actually.
Yeah.
Uh,
yeah.
I think that she would be a great fit. I did entertain the thought of Cameron Diaz, uh,
Mhm.
but then I was like, uh, maybe like maybe for a slightly older Sue, she would be a better fit. But like,
Yeah.
feel like that time has passed just by a little bit.
Mhm.
Uh, but like, yeah, I'd go for Amy Adams.
Yeah, that actually works. That would actually probably work pretty good too, because I remember her in like obviously, you know, Lois Lane, but like for something more meaty that she's done, like that I've watched recently was I saw Arrival.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's really good in that. She had like a I don't even know how to describe the vibe that she gives off in that film. It's just like there's like this light of intelligence in the back of her eyes that
Yeah.
like she doesn't have to say anything to to emote that she's like credible as this linguist. You
Yeah.
just know she knows what she's talking about and what she's doing. And yeah, yeah, that's a good choice.
Mhm.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Um all right, so going around with Sirius, you're up next with I guess we'll do Johnny.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I sort of. Yeah, and like
Okay.
my pick for Johnny is definitely one of the more popular fan casts. Like I've definitely seen this one like brought up before, but
Uh-huh.
like it's like I can see why. And I I might have mentioned this before, but I think Dacre Montgomery would be a great choice for Johnny, the Australian. He was the Red Ranger in the reboot of Power Rangers. He
Oh.
is the older jackass brother in Stranger Things. The
Okay,
like
yeah.
yeah, him. Like you shave off the mustache or the beard or whatever. Like that. Like he's Johnny. He's a few years older than Tom Holland, which I did keep in mind. I did want someone like comparable in age to that because I would like to see that
Yeah.
dynamic. But like from what I've seen him in, from that, like I can tell, like like he's a good actor. I'm sure he'd be a good fit for Johnny. So yeah,
Oh, he could play that douchebag aspect of
yeah,
Johnny just, like, without even trying.
yeah,
Like, he just like, the dude just walks into the camera in
yeah.
Stranger Things like, I had forgotten his character because it had been so long since I'd seen Stranger
Mhm.
Things, but when he walked back on camera, I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's right, that's the douchebag."
Yeah, like he's just he's just a dick. Like he's what they
Yeah.
wanted Steve to be like in Stranger Things before like people like that character. They were like, okay, we'll just make him. He's just such an asshole. like 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 you could play it up with Johnny if you wanted to, but like either way, I think he'd be, I think of the right age for what I'd want from a Johnny, like great
Mhm.
actor. Like he looks the part, like he would look. Yeah, I'd love to see him as Johnny. That's my pick.
Oh, yeah. That's great. So, like, I'm like part of the reason why I had Kerry Washington as my Sue is I was like when the Fantastic
Yeah,
came out and they cast uh, um,
Michael B. Jordan.
Killmonger. Yeah, Michael B. Jordan. It's such an easy name to remember. Uh, like there couldn't possibly be an easier name to remember than Michael Jordan. Um, but when they cast him, I actually liked his his Human Torch in the
Yeah.
film, and I actually liked the idea of like a black actor playing Johnny and just bringing something new and dynamic to the role that we
Mhm.
just haven't gotten before. So that was part of the reason why my Sue I cast as a black actress, and rather than
Oh.
doing the whole adopted thing, whatever, just have
Mhm.
a black actor and a black actress for Sue and Johnny. So
Yeah.
my Johnny is John Boyega.
Oh,
Oh.
interesting.
Yeah, like he's such a good he's such a personality when he's on screen, and
Yeah.
That's what Johnny is Johnny is pure personality. He's
Yeah.
just yeah, and when I saw him in Force Awakens, I was like, this guy is doing a really good job at playing, someone who would not ordinarily be likable, but he's making
Mhm.
him likable. And I was just thinking if he understands how to do that nuance, he'd be perfect as Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
I actually did briefly consider John Boyega for both
Yeah.
Johnny and Reed while thinking about it, but ended up being like, uh, I'd pro- I have no I still have no idea who I'd want him to play in the MCU.
Mhm.
But like he deserves to be there in some way, definitely. Um,
Yeah.
so originally, my plan was to say that my Human Torch would be Andrew Garfield,
Mm.
which uh, because I don't know what it is, but like the way he plays Spider-Man in the web movies very much feels like classic Jackass Johnny to me.
Mm.
I think that
Yeah.
he really would fit. Um, but due to who I have as my thing, I ended up switching him out for Wentworth Miller, uh,
Mm.
who,
Oh, okay.
uh,
Whitworth
like,
Miller.
the guy who plays Captain Cold on The Flash.
Oh, okay.
I, so I guess I can also say I have Dominic Purcell as my thing.
Mm.
Heat Wave. Uh,
Oh, okay.
yeah, and like they were together on Prison Break too, apparently. Never
Yeah,
watched
that's
Prison
right.
Break. But yeah, I thought because the thing is, Johnny and Ben are a duo. They are very much like they're people who like both they very much love each other, but at the same time kind of hate each other. Uh, but like not in like a natural like toxic way. It's just like they
Right.
bicker a lot. Uh,
Yeah.
and I think that those two can absolutely pull that off. And I think that Johnny kind of embodies. Oh, Johnny, not. Wentworth Miller kind of embodies a lot of Johnny's traits.
Mhm.
Like, I think he can pull off that kind of like young, cocky jackass
Yeah,
element to him. Uh, while
I'm just hearing that voice saying "Flame on."
yeah, uh, while like Dominic has like that edge to him that you see with Heatwave, but like
Mhm.
as you see throughout Legends, there is like a softer side, very deep underneath it, which I
Yeah.
think would be perfect for the thing.
Guess
Uh,
what? It's clobbering time.
uh, plus, you want someone who like whose voice would fit with that big stone monster aesthetic.
Mhm.
And I think Dominic's works really well with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll also say, I mentioned this to Sirius yesterday, but if he was still alive, I would absolutely want Michael Clark Duncan to dub over as a thing in a movie. Unfortunately, he's not, so that can never happen. But like,
Yeah.
I would pay to see that shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was actually a great Kingpin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I would like to have seen him do more superhero stuff. But yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good combo because we already know the two got chemistry together. So
Yeah.
yeah. So serious, who's your thing then?
My thing, this is the one that I feel is like this is the hottest take. This is the one that like is legitimately like I was like for the thing I mentioned to Danny, I was like I did end up going to that I mean I didn't need it. I already think about this guy a lot for like the thing just because I know he has a lot of depth to him that you might not expect
Mhm.
because of like his very comedic career. Uh, but like yeah, also like a Jewish actor, which I sort of like. I was like, oh, I will, because I also think he'd be a great thing, regardless if he was Jewish or not. But Seth Rogen is. I was like, I would love to see him as Ben Grimm. Like, I think he would be.
is it
I think
because
he'd
he
be
also
great.
been a Nazi that one time? Or has been
Yeah, because like I was thinking about it and I'm like, yeah, because like a lot of people think about his stuff with Franco, like a lot of that like pretty crass humor and stuff. But like he can be a serious actor in things like there was
Yeah.
one movie that I think I'm the only one who watched last year, but he was in an American Pickle, which is a comedy, but it's still like he has like a lot of depth in that, and he's like he can be like a serious he can be a serious he can do things like very like it's not all just like weed jokes and stuff like it's like oh
Yeah.
like, this is actually a very like quite touching heartwarming story about like getting back into like touch with like your Jewish heritage or whatever, which
Yeah.
like I love that like that was a great movie. I was that was like what turned it around for me. I was like, God, he I really like I don't have to think of him just as like a comedian now, because like that really was like a heartfelt portrayal. But yeah, like Seth Rogen is the thing. Also, like the thing you said, Danny, about like the voice. Like you can't imagine Seth Rogen saying it's clobbering time with like that like gargliness. Like it would be kind of funny. But like, can you imagine being a criminal in New York City? You hear Seth Rogen, it's clobbering time. Just burst through like a wall. Like I would absolutely pick. I would say, you know, David Harbour already is in the MCU, who would have been my pick. Like absolutely, but like Seth Rogen is like that's the one for me now. But yeah,
yeah,
that's my Ben.
I like it.
That's the most surprising choice of the show.
Yeah,
Yeah. God damn,
Yeah.
you actually sold it too.
Yeah, you saw it's well like comedians like like invariably seem to be good dramatic actors
Yeah,
for some reason, because like whenever they do something, like they could be just like the most nonsense j- out there slapstick whatever type of comedian.
yeah,
They do silly stand-up comedy, they do real intellectual stand-up comedy, whatever it is that they do. But then they do like they'll be like an extra in a drama or something like that, and
yeah,
they will like completely sell the seriousness of the character that they're playing, almost like comedy comes from a place of great pain,
yeah,
possibly.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
like
like yeah.
all comedy comes from misery. Nostalgia critic. But no, I was gonna say, like I watched The Mask recently, and even though like I said, after I watched it, like the opening bit before Jim Carrey gets the mask is easily like the weakest part of the movie. Like
uh,
all the stuff afterwards, both in like the mask film and in his human identity, like Jim Carrey does sell it really well. He can handle
yeah,
like a slightly like he can handle the over the top hamminess of the mask, obviously, but also like the guy who's just being locked up in jail,
yeah.
um, uh, for like, or a guy that seems to be on the verge of a meltdown, in the
Mhm.
eyes of everyone but himself. Uh, like it works surprisingly enough.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is like
yeah,
an example where he really plays a great dramatic role, and there's not really any comedy like what you're accustomed to seeing Jim Carrey do, and it's just a wonderful film.
mhm.
The tension that he's able to the tenseness that he's able to convey with his life, just not like his memories unraveling the way that they
Mhm.
are. It's really well done. Um, so yeah, that's surprising. Well, I can't top that, but my thing it was going to be is just Mark Wahlberg.
Ah.
And that's mostly because I think he does a good Brooklyn accent. Primarily, that was the main reason why I picked him, but, like, I do think, like, he kind of embodies Ben Grimm's personality just a bit. Um,
Mhm.
I think he's kind of like, I feel like Mark Wahlberg is the Ben Grimm of actors. Uh, he's kind he's kinda
Yeah,
like, "Yeah, I'll do this because I'm good in it, but, I'm still gonna, put my foot through the set if I get upset or something like
yeah,
that." Yeah, I just I feel like he could, like, sell the cigar chomping Yancey Street
yeah.
brawler that is, at the core of what the thing is.
Yeah, I was definitely gonna say like sketchy past. Yeah, he's got
Yeah,
that down, doesn't
yeah. I'm just picturing the thing saying, "Say hi to your mother for me," something like that.
he?
So, excellent.
Yeah,
Um,
this is great.
so
Um,
who is your so serious? Who is your? Because I know you were thinking about doing a villain or two. So who is your
um,
villain choice?
well, I thought like I thought we were all saying we all have a Doom cast, right? We
I
all have
think so.
that.
Do we all have a
Yes.
Doom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
yeah,
Excellent. So we'll do our Doom.
we'll go Doom, and then we'll go like
To a wild
supplementary
card.
character, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, my Doom. I thought like Doom was one where I was like, I don't really know what to do because I want him to be a peer to read, like because like a lot of these fan casts you see people do, it's like a notably older actor. It's like he would be more of a mentor unless you had him like play younger, which I think would be a bit silly. Like I would love Vigo Mortensen as Doom, but like
Mhm.
he's too old. Like at this point to play like a Doom across like a 40s like 40s ish read. But anyways, my Doom. Um, because another thing that I would like to do is I remember I was speaking with Rock about this, but I would love if the MCU Doom if they went and they cast somebody who was like very like a very you know, well-regarded man, like in the looks department, like someone who looks like quite attractive, I guess, to a lot of people.
Mhm.
And also is a good actor, you know, like
Yeah.
so-
Well, there's
okay,
that, yeah.
like there is someone who meets those two quotas. But Ryan Gosling was my choice for Doom.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, of I guess like La La Land and Blade Runner 2049 fame. Obviously, other things, but like those are the two things that I sort of primarily think of him. But like I think he could really play he would play it really well, especially the I could definitely see like the vanity of Doom. Like I'm
Mhm.
sure he would like kill it. Like
Oh yeah.
he's a great actor. Like and like yeah, like just Gosling I think would be my choice just because I think he would like to do something superhero ish, and this would probably be like one of the meteor roles for him to have.
I'm still picturing him as young Hercules, so I'm trying to get that image out of my head, but yeah. Yeah, I could see it.
I always get Gosling and Jake Gyllenhaal mixed up in my
Yes,
head.
so do I.
Uh,
Yeah.
like,
So do Gosling and Gyllenhaal.
so it's like I was just had a moment of like, wait, wasn't he already in one of these? And then it's like, oh wait, no. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, good choice.
So, like, okay, so for my Doom, I'm going with, someone who's a little bit, also an experienced actor. I guess people consider him good looking, but he's kind of like he can do a combination of he can do over the top
Okay.
and sell over the top. So, I'm going with, Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, and
you just want that
primarily
Doom biopic.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, just for that reason, because, he's like I'm remembering all the times he played just a really unlikable person, but really memorable. Like from his first big role that at least that I remember him from, in Gladiator,
Yeah.
and then just everything that he's done since then. He's always been able to I've seen him been able to do both characterizations, a normal person and somebody who's really, really over the top,
Mhm.
and bad, but without making it hammy, you
Yeah.
know? And that's one of the things that I feel like they've failed to do with Doom up until now. They've continued to write him as an over the top villain, but he's kind of a generic supervillain.
Mm.
Doom
So I
should
kind
be
of
anything but generic. Doom
yes.
should stand above all. Like
Yeah, and
that's the whole
I think
thing.
I think Joaquin could actually make him scary, could actually
Yeah.
make you afraid of him.
Yeah,
Oh,
So, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, just a few moments, like, if they do the origin where he gets the mask put on his face, he wouldn't even need to take the mask off ever again. You would just see those eyes through the
Yeah.
mask, and you
I
would
am going
feel
to become Doctor Doom.
yeah. You would just feel there would be you would sense terror when you look at those eyes. You'd just be
Yeah.
like, I am afraid of you." And, yeah, so that's why I choose mine.
Yeah, it's a great choice.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I've said my Doctor Doom to you guys several times before, but I really like the idea of Pedro Pascal playing uh, Doctor
Yeah.
Doom.
Yeah.
I, I, I don't know what it is, cause like the roles that people know him for are roles I haven't really are the ones I haven't really watched. Like I
Mhm.
have not watched The Mandalorian. Uh, I have not watched I've not watched all this other stuff, but like
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like there's something about him. I just like think, yeah, this guy could totally sell um like the layers of Doctor Doom.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
like I don't know how to really say it other beyond that. I just really think he could pull it off.
That's
Yeah.
interesting because you haven't seen The Mandalorian, and, like, the one of the things that Pascal does brilliantly is act with a mask on.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
like
I remember the first I brought it up, you mentioned that, and like, yeah, that's just a really cool bonus to
yeah,
know.
Yeah.
Um,
yeah,
like, I think, I just think he has kind of like that presence that makes
mm,
him like, um, uh, he feels like someone who would be able to attract everyone's attention and be able to both intimidate people and charm them, which I
mm,
think is important with like Doom, because like everyone focuses on like the theatrical egomaniac aspects of him, but there's also
right.
like he's also got a manipulative streak. He's also
Yeah.
Mm,
like you mentioned before, Sirius. He's like he was very conventionally handsome
Mhm.
at one point. Uh and like he was like rather charming
Mhm.
in certain aspects, and I think
mm.
Pedro could pull that off very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a difficult thing to to do. Well, as I described it earlier, the over the top. Um, he's kind of a villain that like talks to himself, but he talks to himself because he's recording all this stuff
Yeah.
for posterity.
Yeah,
Um, and he's like never truly beaten. He just suffers setbacks, but he never really suffers failures.
Yeah.
yeah,
He's just so in like he's there's no bottom to his ambition.
Mhm.
His
exactly.
ambition, yeah, it just and to sell that in just a few scenes in a film obviously would be difficult. It would obviously be a combination of good writing, editing, and of course the actor that's got to sell it. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
if they could just get the Doom right, if they could just because the other characters they seem to more they got pretty much got right in uh the first two films that they tried
Mhm.
um that actually went to theaters. Um
Yeah.
and it kind of got him in the last one, but the Doom they always get wrong.
Mhm.
Like
yeah,
even as a matter of like I would say like it's subjective whether or not you like him, but like I think it's objective that he's not quite the character that he is in the comic books.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like, yeah.
not the Doom that is like conventionally accepted as like Doom's core characterization.
yeah,
Like, because
Mhm.
obviously, there's differing takes. Some versions will amplify the theatrics, some versions will tone it down. Um,
yeah,
but like, yeah, the guy you see in the 2005 movie and the 2015 movie, they neither of them are really that. They
Yeah.
are
they're
just a
very cartoonish. I mean, at least the early 2000s one is very cartoonish,
Mhm.
and the Fantastic Doom is um well, I don't know what he is.
Yeah.
He's just a bad guy.
Yes. Yeah.
There's yeah.
he's
Like,
so generic and forgettable, which is the last thing you want with fucking Doctor Doom.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay then. So all right, so bonus round, wild card.
Yeah.
Serious, who's your wild card villain?
Yeah. So this is a character that I hope that I wonder if I don't know if Danny would have chosen this one as well, but I was thinking. Well, again, it sort of came from my Doom casting, Ryan Gosling. I was like, he might not. Gosling might not want to get roped into a franchise, but for Doom, you would kind of expect it to be. But there are ways of explaining it around that. And one of them is to cast Christoph von Doom, the like the what's the word the come on the ward, the heir to Latveria or whatever,
Right.
who eventually like he becomes Doom for a period, which is the way I would see it. Say
The
like
prince.
yeah, he'd be like Doom in, like, if it's a trilogy, he'd be Doom in the middle movie because Gosling doesn't want to do three or whatever. But you
Right.
could you could have him basically. You could have him fill that role that he does in the comics, where he gets like partially brainwashed, etc., and so forth. He becomes a Doom stand-in, and the actor that I had for that, um, much keeping in line with the thing that these actors would be probably younger than some of the other characters. But I had Alex Wolff from he's an actor again, sort of around the age range of like Tom Holland, because
Hmm.
that's sort of what I imagine it would be. He could probably play his age as opposed to Tom Holland, who plays like 5 years younger or whatever. But
Okay.
yeah, Alex Wolff, who was in, if you guys have seen the new Jumanji movies, he is the lead in that, sort of like the
Oh,
main
okay.
kid. But he's
Oh,
also in the movie I watched recently. He is the son in Hereditary, the horror movie, and he's great in that. Just another thing, like range. I see range in that. He was in horror as this like pained like guy who lost a lot, and he's just like, again, like depth to a character, and like I know that he can play like a he can play more than one type of character, which is always a plus. But like I think he would definitely, I would love to see the dynamic between him and like a Gosling Doom, like how him being mentored would look. I would love to see that in like a few scenes in a Fantastic Four movie. Um, but yeah, it's sort of my choice. So yeah, like Christoph Von Doom, Alex Wolff is the wild card that I had chosen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this guy's work, but
Hmm.
I would really like to like see the new Jumanji movies. Haven't got around to them, and
Yeah.
that's like one of my favorite. That's like my favorite franchise. Before I even
Mhm.
realized it was a franchise, I didn't know Zathura. I didn't know Zathura
Yeah.
technically counted. I knew it was. I mean, I knew it was in the same vein, but I didn't know it was like literally part of the franchise.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, that's interesting. I am still like a little bit torn on my wild card. So, Danny, would you mind jumping ahead of me this time, and I'll
okay.
get back to y'all.
So, well, this is the one I was looking forward to because uh, I decided to go for the Mole Man because,
Ah.
classic Fantastic Four villain. I've always been kind of fond of him. And I know they were going to do him in like the 2015 movie. They had
Tim
shit,
Blake
what's his name?
Nelson
Yeah,
of
Tim Blake
the
Nelson.
leader fame.
And I considered just reusing him because he is a great fit.
Yeah.
Uh, but I ended up deciding. Uh, me, I I thought, okay, this guy is kind of neurotic, kind of crazy,
Mhm.
kind of uh, someone that's kind of like theatrical and over the top. When you think of theatrical, over the top comic book castings, who else did you go for but Willem Dafoe? I, I, the moment I thought of it, I was like, "Fuck, I have to go with that. I wouldn't be able to think of anything better. It's
Yeah.
like, just imagine, like, Willem Dafoe in like the mole man getup, fucking riding on top of like Monster Island creatures against the Fantastic Four. How
Yeah.
goofy and awesome would that be? It
Oh
will
my
never
god.
happen, but I
Yeah.
want it to happen.
Oh, can you
Yeah.
imagine the multiverse theories when they announced the casting?
Oh,
That's
oh
that's the
man,
real twist. Willem
That's
Dafoe in Spider-Man 3 is the Mole Man. We
yeah.
never.
And what's better is like, if I wasn't able to get Willem Dafoe, I would probably
Mhm.
go for Alfred Molina. Like,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I think like it wasn't intentional just going for Raimi-verse actors, but like I think he could pull off like kind of a more like tragic loner element of Mole Man well. But
Mhm.
like, if I want to use Mole Man for an MCU movie, I'm probably gonna lean more towards just the fun element than like the sad aspects of him. So
Yeah.
I'm like Willem Dafoe could probably pull off the sad stuff too. Uh,
Yeah. He could.
but yeah, I think both of them could do really good, but like I'm leaning more towards Willem.
Huh.
There you go. Yeah.
I was wrong. Seth Rogen wasn't the biggest surprise this episode. Uh, okay then. So I guess I've settled on my actor. I was having a little bit of trouble decide like I wanted a kind of handsome British actor for some reason. Um, not really sure why he needed to be British. Just in my head, he needs to be British. To play Super Skrull,
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
and so I'm like, well, there's a few British actors. I boiled it down to two, and I think I'm gonna settle with Henry Cavill
Mm,
as
yeah.
and like
Oh, I like that. I like that a
yeah.
lot.
So like it like we probably wouldn't introduce a Super Skrull in the first film. I don't think that would work. But
Yeah.
like two, 3 films down the road, you introduce that villain that has all four of the Fantastic Four's powers, and
Mhm.
you just give it to a guy who already looks like he has those powers.
Yeah.
Uh, and since the Skrull and the MCU are apparently all British anyway. Um, it fits the mold of the MCU scroll, and I just think it would be like fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Just
yeah.
once, I want to see a Belgian scroll.
They could get the actor who played Poirot.
But yeah, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, this segment was a little more awesome than I was expecting it to be.
Yeah. Great,
Yeah,
great castings all around.
that was
I know,
fun.
and I'm putting when I pull this segment for the I was
The
going to pull
video.
this segment for a separate video to include to direct people to the full podcast. I'm going to make sure to include all the black people that we mentioned.
Yeah.
They're just going to all Fantastic Four fan cast. It's just going to be nothing but the black
Just
actors that
yeah,
yeah
the three black actors that
the
have been
three black
named.
actors. They're not even going to show the Caucasian actors, just because like I said to Sirius earlier, I said, you know, uh, we'll get some hate, but like that just feeds the algorithm.
Be sure to include Pedro and Alfred Molina
Pedro
in there too,
Yeah,
because
Pedro Pascal, Alfred, yeah, they will go on there too. Yeah, all the POCs, definitely.
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
And now on to questions from our readers. We have questions from a number of readers that we picked up off of the Discord, which I have a Discord. You should go join that. I will have the link in the description and you know, talk to me, please. Uh, so our first question comes from Memer Spider. Uh, the question is, which is you guys' least favorite, but still think that maybe it shouldn't be too hated? So kind of reverse of what we were saying, of
Right.
what we were doing earlier. But in this case, he's asking about The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Wonder Woman 84, or any of the Star Wars prequels.
Ooh. Was it prequels or sequels? Like I remember.
Sequels, my bad.
Okay.
so I'm not the most well equipped to answer this one,
Uh,
because I have only seen one of the sequels, and like I heard the audio for Wonder Woman 84 thanks to Mark, uh, and I don't think that makes me qualified to talk about the movie. Though,
Did
uh,
you see Amazing? Do you think that what about Amazing Spider-Man 2?
oh, I have seen Amazing Spider-Man 2 though, uh,
Do you
and
what do you
not a
think?
fan.
Ah, you think
uh,
it
Huh.
earned its
it's it's too cluttered. It's uh,
uh
it's a
But I
bit
mean,
of a mess. Uh,
with the
like
way that sorry.
sorry, I was just gonna say like there's parts of it that I think like if it was a bit more streamlined, it could have been better. like I could probably would have liked a lot more. I know my younger brother used to absolutely adore it, which I always found kind of funny. Uh, but
Oh boy.
yeah, um, yeah, like I don't know. It's maybe definitely cut out a bunch of stuff with like Peter's dad being
Yeah.
like what was it, like a scientist that oh I don't even remember. I know it
Yeah.
involved like him creating the spider stuff or
Yeah. He
being
Something
was he
like
behind
was an
it.
that,
Oscorp
yeah.
scientist. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, do, does anyone really care that much about Peter's parents? Like,
Mm, yeah. Who knows?
like
The only time I ever cared about Peter's parents was when I thought they were SHIELD agents, and I thought that
Yeah.
was when they were younger, and I thought, "Oh, that's awesome," and then I think that turned out to not be true.
oh no, in the comics that was like the origin Stanley gave them, but there is like some like it's a common thing for like fans to be like, was that a good idea or a bad idea? Uh, I tend to lean towards it being like fine. Although I understand why people are like, well, it kind of robs Peter of his everymanness if his parents were fucking government agents. But like, he didn't grow up with that life. He grew up around his aunt and uncle, um,
Yeah.
like living in Queens. It just so happens that his parents were involved in like extra shit, but that really wasn't his life for the most part.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I because it's just like, his life is, doesn't get extraordinary until after he gets the spider bite.
Yeah.
Up until then, it was just and then even after the spider bite, pretty much is still kinda ordinary unless he's in costume.
For the most part, yeah.
Uh, I mean, like, my thing with the question is that it's still saying like, what's the least favorite of these things of the Amazing Spider-Man 2, Wonder Woman 84, and the Star Wars sequels. But I think the answer still is the Amazing Spider-Man 2 because it is without a doubt my least favorite of those three. If those are the options, it's like yeah, because I like
I guess it's like a balance between which is your least favorite, but you still think maybe it shouldn't be it gets too much hate. So, like, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, you probably would say is your least favorite, but
yeah.
it deserves the lack of recognition that it got,
Hmm.
whereas maybe there's something else. Well, so, like, if I were to answer either of these, I would say, ooh, I don't think the sequels deserve any of the hate they get personally. So they're not my least favorite. Wonder Woman 84, do I like it less than the Star Wars sequels?
Yeah. Hmm. You know,
That's difficult
I.
to say. Always in motion is the
Hmm.
future. Uh, maybe I like Wonder Woman a little less just because I'm a big Star Wars fan,
Yeah.
but also like I'm also a really big fan of Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be hard to say. Like definitely I think The Amazing Spider-Man 2, like when I watch, cuz you know me, I'm always forgiving of most
Mhm.
movies. Um I get why Amazing 2 didn't do well.
Yeah.
The editing is very sloppy. Um,
Mhm.
one of the things that I said I noticed was Electro just can travel through power lines.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what about being bitten by electric eels gives you the ability to travel through power lines? Like fine, if that's what you wanna do, okay, but give me something that establishes that you can now turn into pure energy. Because I didn't get
Mhm.
that, like, I what I was getting from it was that he could now like, he was like a generator or a battery, not that
Yeah.
he could
Yeah.
literally lose his physical form, and, my suspension of disbelief, like, wasn't prepared for that. So
Mhm.
I feel like that was rushed. I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of Electro's whole story is rushed
Yeah.
and just
Um.
edited badly.
Yeah. Like Spectacular Spider-Man, which the whole Electric Eel origin was ripped from there. Uh,
Mm.
like I think the show handled it better. Uh, like
Mm.
cause you see like Electro, um, like it establishes, oh, he can't drink coffee anymore because it ends up like frying it. It's like, oh, I am living energy now. Uh,
Okay.
like that's and they do that before he gets into like a single action scene. That's how you
Mhm.
properly set up how this guy's power set works. That's how you
Yeah.
set up how he's not just like you know um got eel like electric eel like abilities, and is actually just like living energy
Mhm.
instead of like how the movie does it. Um,
And to be
Yeah.
fair, like most cartoons that I've ever seen usually don't explain the electric person who can travel through wires. The person
Mhm.
just does it. And I've never particularly liked it in any of those, and I felt like it really, really needed to establish that in a live action film.
Yeah.
yeah,
I think I do have an answer to that question. I think
Okay.
it. I'm thinking, and I'm like, I think it's the Rise of Skywalker. I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what? Probably don't like that the most, but like, I still, I still think that a lot of the hate, as we've seen in conversations with people who are in denial that they are wrong, um, those are plot holes. Those are personal grievances. But like,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm saying. I have grievances with that movie, but I'm not saying it's a oh this is a mistake of the filmmakers. I mean, like I'm sure there are some, but like for a lot of it, it's just like not the way I would have ended the Star Wars sequel trilogy, but it's still Star Wars. Like
yeah.
it is still
Yeah.
Star Wars. I
I
still enjoy it. I still like tear up watching the scene with Ben and Han. I still love the
Yeah.
fact that we got like the Bendemption. We got
Yeah.
that. But like still of these ones I might say like least favorite. I just thought I had some problems with it. I just personally like more than the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like and I'm just like but like it does not deserve some of the quote unquote criticisms that it has. It definitely has deserves some, but like too much. Too much. Like yeah, so that's my answer to the question I've realized is yeah, definitely Rise of Skywalker. I like it the least out of those listed, but like it's still Star Wars. Like come on people. Like
Yeah.
I
just like
still want to
come on.
smack people upside the head for complaining about the space magic being able to heal people. Like I'm thinking back to
the
a conversation we had on the server like a month or two ago,
the
and it
thing
was
it did in Legends. Like it was literally in Legends. The thing that these people like, the thing that these people take as the gospel, it was in fucking Kodor. Like they did force healing. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
like
Jesus.
there were more Force healers in Legends than there
And there
are
are now.
in the new canon that Disney established. Like there
Jesus.
were like I think like more than a dozen healers.
Yeah.
So yeah, like one of the
Um,
main like one of the Jedi that was depicted in live action prior to Disney purchasing anything was supposed to be a healer in Legends. So
so is
yeah.
that Plo Koon? Is that the
No, it was the green lady with the big hat. I'm such a
oh
good
Luminara. Is that
Luminara. Yeah,
yeah. Oh, that's right.
the Jedi Master.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean like I don't begrudge anybody who doesn't like the Rise of Skywalker because they just didn't like it, but like
Mhm.
I always have a problem when like the first thing they bring up is a thing that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so, like, if I talk about a movie, like, the first thing I brought up about The Amazing Spider-Man was Electro. I think that was the thing that bothered me, maybe the most. I feel like it
Mhm,
maybe one of the things that hurt the film quite a bit. Um, so if you're gonna bring up, like, a thing that you think hurts the film, it should be a thing that actually happened in the movie. Not a
mhm.
thing that you misunderstood completely. Like,
Yeah,
I didn't misunderstand that electro can travel through wiring, I just didn't like that they didn't explain it.
yeah.
That's slightly different than, people who say, like, "How can the Death Star have wreckage?" Because 'cause it exploded.
Wait, are there people that don't understand that an explosion would have wreckage? What?
Th They seem to think it was completely vaporized on the molecular level. That's the only thing I can glean.
Okay,
Yeah.
I. All right.
Yeah,
Oh boy,
what's the next
Star Wars
question?
fans. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
we
Oh,
definitely need to do a
geez.
Star Wars episode.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So
Oh,
so I guess that's not probably not a direct answer that Memer Spider you were looking
yeah.
for, but, like, um, definitely sparked a conversation. I'll
Rise of
tell you.
Yeah.
Skywalker, my answer.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm just like, there's not one that I like the least
Yeah,
out of
understandable.
that the one that I like the least out of those selections is the one that I think deserved it. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And I
Okay.
guess I have that same answer as Mark there. It's like, yeah, the one I like the least is the one that deserves it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
so all right. So, it's moving on to our next question. Adam Mullen, from Watchtower Database asks, "What's a movie that everyone loves that you think should have a bad reputation?"
Deadpool.
See, I saw it to.
What did you say?
Uh,
Deadpool. I
Deadpool.
don't know
okay.
how people like it. It's fucking atrocious. Like, legitimately.
So I
I
was
did not.
about to say that we
I did
could
not know
have this
this.
be its own prompt for a future episode, but if you want to dive
Yeah,
right into it now, okay. Yeah, I know Sirius does not like Deadpool.
I did
I've
not know that. Yeah, no,
I mean,
I
I like
hadn't.
yeah. I could have said Doctor Strange, but like like even then I'm like I like Doctor Strange more than I like Deadpool. I had no fun throughout that movie. It's like how are
Really?
people talking of yeah, it just like did not click with me at all. The one as I've said before like maybe you guys haven't heard it, but like the one joke that I liked in that movie is right at the end when he takes off the mask and he's got the Hugh Jackman cutout on. That was the only time in the movie I was like, "Ah, that's neat." The rest of it, I was like, "This is painful. I hate this so much." Like, like it's not even like what the internet thinks Deadpool is, like, haha, XD random cats. It's nothing. Like I just I could not gel with it whatsoever. So yeah,
That's
like Deadpool is the one that I'm just like legitimately one of my least favorite like Fox produced X-Men movies. Just I don't understand. So yeah,
I mean,
that's the one that I'd say.
I haven't seen Deadpool 2, but I would say it's probably the Fox movie I like the most.
Mhm.
So that is
Yeah,
interesting. I did not know that.
yeah.
Ah,
Deadpool
see?
2, great time though.
Yeah.
Deadpool 2 was great. I love that. I love the X-Force. I love Domino. I was just like Deadpool 1. Like this is a dead fish of a movie. Like just nothing. Yeah. So
Wow.
that's my answer to Adam's question.
Okay.
The
hmm.
hottest take we've had.
Uh, I thought I was gonna have a hard time with this question, but then I remembered that I am one of the few people, maybe not now. I think a lot of people have a different opinion in retrospect, but at the time, I think I was one of the few people that was not crazy about Batman '89.
Oh.
Um, I took issue with the fact that Batman didn't actually seem to do much in the film.
Mhm.
Like, he
Right.
certainly had moments where, he had his fight, he dropped his bombs, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But, um, there's, a scene that I feel like epitomizes what I'm talking about is the crowd scene where the Joker has these balloons that release toxic gas, the Joker
Yeah.
gas.
Mhm.
Batman flies around for most of that scene, doing absolutely no good whatsoever. Like, he flies past the balloons. Oh yeah, there's these people then he flies. I think he makes two passes over the balloons.
Yeah.
And then he goes up into the sky, makes the bat symbol, then comes back down, and then
He
proceeds to clip the balloon. And I'm just like, bruh, people were dropping dead while you're over here flexing.
you had I was about to
How?
say, but I raised you that scene. It's sick. Just like the dun 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 dun.
Yeah,
He had to do it because it was cool.
yeah, and like it's definitely a cool visual. Like, oh, what a
Yeah.
great idea! But I'm just like, you should be saving people, and you aren't. Just so that you can do that. And I just feel like stuff like that kind of happens throughout the movie, where it's just like Batman could have done more, but he doesn't. He's
Yeah.
not. He's not being Batman. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I could probably say that for a lot of Batman films. That
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
that particular complaint, but that just I don't feel like the live action Batman films have really captured Batman,
Yeah.
Batman's essence yet. Except for yeah, I think the one who's ironically come the closest, even though it had like one of the biggest Batman faux pas where he just like murders people. Um, I still think like Batfleck's Batman is
Mhm.
closer to any, even with that cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, because all the movie Batman kill people. It's annoying.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, literally every movie Batman has killed somebody.
The only one we discussed this before, but apparently the only one who has it is Clooney. He's the only one who hasn't murdered
Yeah,
somebody.
yeah. Because
Fearless Batman.
Even Adam West has killed a couple of
Yeah, he,
guys.
he
Oh
like he like
yeah, we
atomized those
got the
people with a
clip of a
punch.
guy getting atomized.
Yeah,
Fuck.
like,
What's
like
funny
it's
is I watched that clip when somebody mentioned that. I watched that clip and I was like, "Holy crap, I remember watching that when I was a kid and feeling very dark inside." Like, "Oh my god, those guys are dead and they're never coming back."
uh,
that set the stage for you for live action Batman for the rest
Yes,
of your life.
for the rest of my life.
I can't wait for Pattinson to kill people and for people to get upset about that.
I want
Yeah.
him to kill the Doug Walker look-alike.
Yeah.
Ah, God.
So
Yeah.
Danny, do you have a movie like that then? Like one that you hate, but you wish everyone else
Captain
did too?
Marvel. No, 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 no. I mean, this. No, I like Captain Marvel, but I've been thinking because it's like, how many enemies do I want to make? Because I mentioned this before, but I am not the biggest fan of Toy Story 3. Uh,
Oh,
Right.
that's right. Yeah.
yeah, and every time I think I've nailed why I don't like the ending in particular, I always end up thinking back at it later on and being like, no, it's something else. So I don't know. I don't vibe with the ending. Like,
Hmm.
not like the stuff with the incinerator. That stuff's great. I'll freely admit
Yeah.
that. Like, it's a gorgeously animated, brilliantly voice acted movie. It's fucking Pixar. Of course, it's got to be
Yeah.
well done in those aspects. But I just don't like the ending. Uh, probably should. Like, it is a it's a good Andy giving away his toys, is a good ending to well, what was planned at the time to be a trilogy. Uh,
Yeah.
but like, and like, that can spin off into like a new trilogy of Toy Stories, which I think is the path they're going on now. Uh,
I
have they
think 4
announced?
is it. Yeah, 4 is
Oh,
supposed to
okay,
be it. Yeah.
okay.
Mm,
Unless
Ca-
somebody just really wants to really has a great idea for 5 that it's not anything they plan on revisiting.
right.
yeah, okay. Yeah, it would feel a bit weird since like both the voice actors for Slinky and Mr. Potato Head are both dead now. It's like,
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
two of like the bigger cast members are gone. Just feels, but yeah. Uh, I just like in all, I should like the ending to Toy Story 3, but I don't, and I still don't fully understand why. I
Mhm.
know that's not a satisfactory answer, uh, but I just, I just don't. I one day I will finally like fully figure out uh my issue there, or maybe just get over it and
Mhm.
actually end up liking the movie. But uh,
So so Danny, why do you hate children so much?
uh
This has been a
it all
great
started
episode
when I
for
was 4 years old. No, yeah.
So so Danny wants to rehabilitate Fu Manchu and hates Toy Story 3.
and
We
didn't
are
cast any non-white actors in
yeah, in
the
Fantastic
No, I
4.
Fantastic.
did
So
cast non-white actors. I didn't cast any black actors. There's a difference. If I'm gonna be labeled as a racist, It's gonna be for the right reason. Uh, yeah, put that
who
one
would have
out of
thought
context.
who would have thought that Danny would be the least woke among us? But
Oh, God.
okay. So I do have a couple of other questions here. We might try to get through real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Um, Paint Can Shaker Machine. That's Wowie.
Wow, yeah.
Wants to know what would you do if you were in the Food Fight cinematic universe?
Uh, is that
Uh,
the Christopher Lloyd movie?
Huh?
Is that the Christopher Lloyd movie? I definitely
Uh,
I don't know what this
I
movie
don't think
is.
it's Christopher Lloyd. I'm pretty sure it's what's his name, Mr. Winning, Emilio Estevez's brother, Sheen.
Charlie Sheen. Christopher
Yeah,
Lloyd is in Food Fight. Okay.
is he in Food Fight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, based on this
Yeah,
Wikipedia page, I would probably scream like a
yeah.
Lovecraft character of
Are
the
you
horror
familiar with
genre.
Food Fight, Danny?
yes, I am familiar with Food Fight. I have no fucking
Okay,
clue what I would
yeah.
do in the Food Fight universe. Um,
Um,
uh,
well, I mean, being that I'm the biggest capitalist in the group here,
Yeah.
I'd probably make do. I'd probably be fine. Uh, much I need to redesign the world, but yeah, um, God, that I haven't actually seen that movie. Have any of y'all seen it?
No, I have not.
no.
It's one of them things like everybody's familiar with, but nobody's actually sat down and watched.
Yeah.
Because it would be that we do we need to make this like a challenge for one of our podcasts? We do a whole
Oh
episode
no.
devoted to
No.
Food
on
Fight.
food fight. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
No.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Oh
Okay.
no.
We'll do that. Thanks, Wowie.
Thanks,
Uh,
Wowie.
yeah, you're the greatest. Great content ideas. Uh, we got another question from Memer Spider asking us thoughts on MCU Spider-Man 3 being a Spider-Verse film, having it be in a multiverse trilogy with WandaVision and Doctor Strange 2, and how do you think they'll do with the identity reveal stuff from Far From Home post credits? Will they skip it or not?
I
Um,
I mean, I think we were all in voice chat when at least Danny, I remember you were. I don't know, I think all three of us definitely were when some of those actors got casted. Like when it was reported on trades that like Alfred Molina was returning and stuff. There
yeah.
definitely was And I'm still. I mean, like, I'll watch it. I'll love it. It's Spider-Man, but like, I really would have preferred if we got a trilogy and then Spider-Verse. Once that trilogy is over, it's fine. But like, I
Yeah.
really would have loved to have seen a just very straightforward. The Sinister Six are hunting down Spider-Man. Um, I mean, who's to say that's not what it is? I mean, like, like there are like Andrew Garfield and Kirsten Dunst are rumored to join the cast or whatever. But I would have gladly taken this mishmash of old and new Spider-Man actors as villains, like Jamie Foxx Electro, Alfred Molina Doc Ock, even like Willem
Mhm.
Dafoe as Norman Osborn. Like, I would have loved to have seen that. Um,
No,
but
Willem
it just
Dafoe
that one
was Mole
thing.
Man.
Mole Man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but just like the thing with MCU Spider-Man 3 is like, again, I'll enjoy it. I will, like, without a doubt. And like, maybe I'll be entirely proven wrong. Maybe I'll say, uh, I, I can't have imagined this any other way. But like, at the moment, it's just like, I will. I will I will like this movie. I like the MCU Spider-Man movies. I like Spider-Man. I will like this movie, but it's just not what I would have wanted
The
right now.
idea is tainted by the fact that Sony was gonna do it.
Yeah.
Which is
It's
funny, considering
yeah,
that their one multiversal Spider-Man project was Into the Spider-Verse, which is fucking phenomenal. But
yeah,
it's because
it's
of Sony's reputation. It's just,
right. The reputation with live action specifically that
Yeah.
you're just like, "Oh no, Marvel, why are you doing something that sounds like a Sony idea?" Um, and I think that's the one thing that just kinda taints it, where it's like, it would probably be fine
Yeah.
if we hadn't known what
Yeah.
Sony's plans were before then. But, like, it's to a degree, I think it kinda feels like, if we had known for certain that Endgame was gonna involve time travel, like, early on,
Yeah.
if we had known that Endgame was gonna involve time travel, I think we would have had a much more sour opinion on it leading into the movie
That that
than
is a
yeah,
great point. Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
So
maybe.
yeah, because like, I didn't think that they were gonna I heard a couple of people suggest it, and I was just like, "Nah, they're not gonna do time travel. That's a terrible idea."
Yeah.
And then the film and it's like, "Oh, they are doing time travel," and the execution was nothing like I expected. And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Okay, that was good." I'm glad I wasn't dreading
Mhm.
the execution of time travel up to that point. So I think that's just the unfortunate situation that we're in with Spider-Man 3 is that they're like, "Oh yeah,
Mhm.
they're doing multiverse. They're bringing back the Spoomic characters."
Yeah.
Uh
Spumka.
yeah, Spunka.
Pumpkin.
So
Oh,
uh
boy.
yeah, so
I guess
but like it will probably be fine. Actually,
yeah.
it might even be, it'll probably even be great.
Yeah, exactly. Like, those are like, yeah, but like again, I'm going to love if they have Tobey Maguire there, if they have Tobey Maguire swing in, if they have that Danny Elfman score, if they have that dun 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 dun. I am going to if I see this in theaters, I'm going to fucking cry. I have never cried in the theaters, but if I go, what is it, this December when it's planned to go, if I have time to see it in theaters, if they do that, it is going to be like the first time I cop a feel in the cinema. Like, I am going to love this movie whether I like it or not. Like, that's just a fact of life at this point. Like, but yeah, I guess to address the second part of that question that Memer Spider had sent was it was the how do you think that they'll address the identity reveal, right? That was
Yeah.
the um I th- I think possibly what they might do is I think they might do it like right off the gate, because if I remember correctly, there have been set photos which sort of imply that maybe he's one more data, like maybe he's erased people's memory of him, perhaps even
Yeah.
entirely, because of some things we've seen with him
Oh,
and of him and what's your name? Zendaya. What's your Michelle? Like
Yeah,
Michelle, like the
Michelle.
way sort of just like
MJ.
interactions people have seen, that perhaps they've done that. And I think if they're doing that, I think they're going to
I
do it. They're going to
I
do it
didn't know
right
about
away.
this.
They're going to do it right away. Like he's going to have It's going to be that, and it's going to like smash cut. He's going to say what the he says that like
Yeah.
in the thing. It's going to cut. He's still going to be on the lamppost. Doctor Strange is going to appear. Smash cut. Hey, yeah, I can erase their memory of the reveal, but also your friends, maybe including Ned, but especially definitely Michelle, are going to forget you. He's going to say okay, and he's going to say, now that I have you here, I might need your help for something. And then multiverse. I think that is how they would do the provide with all the knowledge we have right now. That is how I'd say they might address the identity reveal, like within the first 5-10 minutes of the film.
Maybe so. It's kind of
Okay, so I had no idea about like those set photos, or at least like not the implications of them. I'd only just kind of like glanced through past them whenever they were shared in the Discord.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, wow, that's actually really interesting. I am actually more interested now than I was before, because as I've said multiple times in the past, like outside of Spider-Verse, up into the Spider-Verse, multiversal Spider-Man stuff doesn't interest me nearly as much as just like grounded Spider-Man stuff does.
Mm-hmm.
I like Peter Parker, the working class hero, uh, and like elevating him up to multiverse stuff doesn't work for me. Like just like conceptually, it's like just not something that appeals to me that much.
Mm-hmm.
So, which makes it like even bigger fucking miracle that Spider Verse uh won me over as well as it did. Um,
mm,
but yeah, so I just naturally have these reservations about the movie. But like, you know what? Like, uh, hearing that does make me a bit more interested. Not gonna lie. Uh, like, I'm. I guess we'll wait and see. But like, I'm curious to see how
Mm-hmm.
everything goes. Cause
I
like,
don't know, man. I feel like they're not gonna do like the least favorite part of Superman 2. Like that's when he kisses Lois and takes away her memory. That's just like the part everybody was like, that's not why.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't necessary. And I feel like
Where's Dan to defend it?
yeah.
He actually put the memories in a cage in Lois's home.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
if only that conversation had been recorded. We're gonna get our resident Christopher Reeve Stan to come into the podcast one day to discuss whether or not Zod was killed at the end of Superman.
We'll get in with Ursa nonetheless.
Yeah,
Like no matter
yeah,
what, I love to see that explanation.
yeah.
He refuses to come in for Man of Steel stuff, which you
So we'll
know.
just discuss. Yeah. This individual is not a Man of Steel fan, but he is a huge Christopher Reeves fan. So I think we can get him to come in and discuss whether or not um, Zod, Non, and Ursa were killed at the end of Superman 2. Spoiler, yeah, they were. Um, and just get his viewpoints on that. They'll be wrong, but yeah, that'll be an interesting discussion. You will. I'm sure my audience will love to hear about the mattresses and the cage at the bottom of that cavern.
The
Uh,
water.
why
Uh,
Superman has cages with mattresses in them is a giant question mark. But yeah, we'll get into that. Um,
Release the Kryptonians in cages. Is that the DC equivalent? Like, we know what you're doing, Superman. We know what you're up to.
so like I mean, my thinking for Spider-Man 3 is that for the MCU Spider-Man 3 is that they're just gonna, or as Feig calls it, Homecoming 3,
Yeah.
that they're just going to kind of resolve it early on in the film.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so
Um,
as well.
and it's just like it's just our lead, kind of like they resolved um,
Aunt May?
his aunt, yeah, Aunt May finding out
Yeah.
who he was. We all thought that was going to be kind of like a big plot point, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, and if that holds true, then the next it's probably like not even a big plot point, but it may
Yeah.
tie into like it does sound like, and like even the Easter eggs that we're seeing where it's like I believe that Mysterio is still alive, that might not even be the plot of the
Yeah.
film. That
Yeah,
might just be,
totally.
that's probably, that could just very easily just be set dressing. One thing
Yeah.
about Marvel is they seem to kind of defy your expectations.
Mhm.
So I feel
Yeah,
like we're all probably off base in some way.
they love to toy with people. Like, did you see that thing I
Yeah.
posted in the Marvel and Star Wars spoilers thing? The video that talked about like how WandaVision, like one of the trailers, actually had a different take on like Wanda's interaction with Monica in episode
Oh
3.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did not
The
catch
trail.
that until he mentioned it, and it's like, oh shit,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, like
damn.
Marvel loves to do that, and I'm like, I kind of love them for it. Like the Infinity War trailers that were incredibly not what was in the movie.
Well,
You
Yep.
know?
like I wanted to do a video where I like broke the greatest moments where the trailer didn't match the movie, because
Yeah,
they've been doing this for a long time. Do y'all remember the Iron Man 2 trailer, which had
Nope.
like a complete, it had like
I
a
was eight.
completely deleted. Well, there's like I guess maybe it's a deleted scene or an alternate scene, but like at the beginning of Iron
right.
Man 2, he's in the drop ship, right? And
Hmm.
he just jumps out. But in the trailer, Pepper's in there and they have this whole conversation together. And they do this flirting thing, and like he says, he makes one of his snide comments about you loving me, and she kisses the helmet. She's holding his helmet. She kisses the helmet on
Right.
the where the lip area and tosses it out the plane.
Yeah.
and and Tony walks up to the edge of the plane and he jumps out kind of backwards and straight legged and says, "You complete me."
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
That
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah.
vaguely familiar. Yeah. What the?
Yeah, I remember this. Yeah.
And
Okay.
I'm like, that is so good, but it was not actually in the film. The film was
Yeah.
just him by himself in the plane and he jumps out.
Yep.
So yeah,
Yeah.
like Marvel's been doing that forever, as far as I can tell, and some of them are really great moments.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Okay, so let's try to jump to the next question here. I think we've got two more.
Okay.
This we might this one might have to be its own episode. Also from Wowie, what would you do if somebody convinced you that you were British?
Go to sleep and hope I wake up not. Like that's. I mean, like, it depends on how you go about it. Because I guess if someone said, uh, technically you are British because you were British for like your country was British for so long, I'd be
Am I
like,
am I being
maybe
brainwashed in this scenario? I kind of need more information.
you've been
Like,
clockwork oranged.
yeah, have have I been like some British version of Fox News? I watched too
Yeah.
much. Is it Sky
Eat
News? Is that
eat
yeah?
the spotted dick.
Yeah.
Do
uh,
it.
Danny, how do you feel about that question?
Uh, I, I, I am an anomaly in this scenario. Uh, I don't know how to handle it. Would I get reversed? Would I get deluded into thinking I'm American? Uh,
That might
or,
you no, you would be convinced that you were more British than you actually are.
Or you were from the
so I
south of
become a
Britain.
turf. Is that what you're
Yeah.
telling me?
Yeah.
Uh, oh boy, I would.
Start tweeting about Harry Potter.
You'd start where you'd start where what is that hat called? Is it called a bowler hat with the pinstripes and and
Oh
the
Jesus.
funny walks. The outfit, the
Uh,
what's his name wore for the I know my British stuff.
I
Do you?
I don't know.
I love how this question made Danny uncomfortable.
I
It made him far more uncomfortable than I was expecting. Uh,
I okay. I'm not that uncomfortable. It's more so the fact that I can hear my grandmother outside,
oh,
walking around. Like, ah,
all right.
uh,
I guess we have one final question here from
Okay.
another one from Adam.
Okay.
It's a loaded question. Who has watched more media? Mark, just because of sheer old age?
Yes.
yes.
I would assume so. You have like you are twice our age, so I would I would hope so. Not hope. Hope is the wrong word, but yeah, I would
We
presume as
need
much.
to, Danny. You still on TV Time, right? You still got the TV Time app.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to like compare the movie stats at one point and get serious to join TV Time because like I'm still trying to put in all the movies that I've ever seen. I sometimes wonder if I should put in movies I've seen but don't really remember. Like I
Mm,
know I've seen them, but I'm not sure if I watched them all the way through. So
right.
I don't know. Like I know I can count stuff like Mac and Me, but I'm not sure if I can count stuff like Dial M for Murder because I'm not sure if I've seen
Right.
it all the way through. So, but po- I mean, there's a possibility that you guys have seen equal or
Mm.
close to equal or even more than me just for the fact that media is more readily available in this day and age.
Oh, yeah, good
And
point.
Mm,
while it was more readily available, you were young. So
yeah.
you
Mhm.
guys were so, like, when I was younger, I certainly watched all the TV I could, but it wasn't
Mhm.
necessarily stuff I wanted. It was, like, rerun after like, I've seen every black and white episode of Andy Griffith, and that's not a thing I ever wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I
We have
can't
the
imagine
power.
what it would have been like to have been, like, that age and have access to Netflix and Hulu and stuff like
Right.
We have the power of 1, 2, 3 movies on our side.
that. So there's a
Yeah.
good chance, if we're not even, there's a good chance that you're pretty close.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think
Cause
about it
like,
like that.
yeah, cause you said you watched 3 movies the other day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I did because I watched Son of what did I watch again? Was yes,
uh,
Son of the Mask, Dark Was the Night, and Knives Out all on the same day. Was
yeah,
Scuff.
and then shortly before that, you had seen Avatar and the Lone Ranger.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. I did that other double feature.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I'm still trying to get in all the Jumanji movies.
Oh yeah, I've
Yeah,
only ever seen I guess like I still haven't seen the Jumanji like the most recent one. I've seen the first like reboot, I guess. I have
I've
not seen
just seen Jumanji and Zathura.
Yeah.
So
God, those are great
uh,
movies.
yeah, I really did, and that's a what is that is that a Favreau or a Shane Black movie? Zathura.
Oh, uh, it might be Favreau. I think it's Favreau actually. Yeah.
I know it's one of the
Uh,
two. Let's see. Directed by John Favreau. Yeah, he
yeah.
said
Yeah. Yeah.
he
Yeah.
wanted to do. The thing about that movie that caught me by surprise when I was watching the making of it was that it used largely practical effects.
Yeah.
I thought it was all CGI, but it was almost like it was mostly just like outer space sequences, but like
Hmm.
the green screen for like the backgrounds and stuff. But like when you see like a big claw coming through the room and pulling the wall off, it's like an actual claw coming through the room and pulling the wall off. It's
Hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. All right. Oh well, there was one final question from Den. He did ask, "What is the meaning of life?" Uh,
42.
Movies. Yeah.
To watch Man of Steel or to not watch Man of Steel. That is the meaning of life.
Yes,
That is,
I
that
did.
is an active choice you are making every minute.
So I did reply. That's easy. Man of Steel, and he edited the comment to, "What's the worst film ever made?"
Son of the Mask.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Superman 2.
I was. And the greatest film ever made was Superman 4. Um, no,
Absolutely.
I really wanted to like see Son of the Mask before we did the podcast,
Yeah.
but I never got a chance to even look for it. But yeah,
Yeah.
so
Oh boy.
you're both one up on me on Son of the Mask.
Yeah.
So I feel like
It,
this
it,
is
it
That's
is on
not a good
HBO
thing.
Max if you have that.
it's
Because
what
I know it's on HBO Max if you have that. Like it
ah
streams
yes
there. You
yes.
won't have to buy it, like which I did.
Oh.
I bought the movie on YouTube. But yeah, it is streaming, which probably learned when they watched the first 20 minutes, or at least up until the my favorite scene of the movie.
Well,
Wait,
I
while we
skipped
tried to
through it.
watch it?
Yeah. While we watched like the first again up until "That's too good to be true." Don't you just love Halloween? Like
so we're
they
making
watched.
references to people that our audience may not be familiar with, but there's good reason for this. We plan on bringing a lot of these people into the podcast as guests
Oh yeah,
in future
Yes.
episodes. So if you hear us mention people, we're not just just like talking amongst ourselves. These are people that we're hoping to get. Particularly, we need to get Den in to discuss Superman. Um,
Oh boy.
but yeah, we've got like a few guests who have expressed interest in being on the show, so the part of our circle of comic nerd discussion. So
yeah,
hopefully this episode gets them excited to join. And we
yeah.
also have not yet decided how often we're going to record these.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know when to tell you when to look for the next episode. When I was doing this, I was planning once a month,
Mhm.
because it was hard to do by myself,
Yeah.
as
Oh
I may
yeah.
have mentioned once or 20 times. Um, but
See, I kind of figured we were just gonna do these on Wednesdays. Like,
okay, well, that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
much easier to do these. Oddly enough, it's much easier for the three of us to just get together and record uh,
Yeah.
here on ZenCast, and just I just edit it later, and we have like a backlog of stuff that I can just gradually put out there. So yeah, I guess we'll try to figure that out, and I will be sure to let everyone know. All right, guys, thanks for joining us on the second episode of the Jedi Podcast, the Jedi HoloCast. We did not get to discuss how problematic that name is. We can do that next episode. But yes, thanks for joining us. Be sure to do the whole thing with the liking and the subscribing and leaving the comments and the angry replies to things that we said, because that is the stuff that feeds the algorithm. You can,
Get
if you're
mad at
listening
me
to,
in particular.
yes, specifically, we want to campaign against Danny for his mostly for his movie choices. But yeah, you can find this podcast on YouTube, or you can listen to it on a number of podcast services, primarily Anchor.fm. If you go to Anchor.fm/Digital Jedi, you can find where those other direct links to the other podcast services are, and maybe you'll find it on one that you regularly listen to. But again, thanks to Danny Buckle and HeyItsSirius. I really appreciate you guys being on and being a part of this. I think we're going to have a good time doing this on the regular.
Absolutely.
So this is Digital Jedi saying peace out. And everyone else can say peace out as well.
Okay. See ya, everybody. That's all, folks.
Peace out, everyone. We'll get the kinks worked out in a year or two.
Yeah.